Welcome. Yeah.
You got
it? This is Tavern Talk, everybody. This is a full spoiler discussion show about everything Wheel of Time. And so if you have not read the entire series, this is your spoiler alert. Please come back in due time. We have many shows that are, friendly to you all, but right now we're deep diving. Dan, nice dance, nice moves.
Yeah, this is my classic.
This is the classic left,
The
right.
chin to the ceiling, nose to the floor, chin to the ceiling, nose to the floor.
Okay, you got a good bounce to it.
Thanks,
everybody. Thanks for joining us. We do have some guests, and let us just bring them in right now.
Do it.
Guess.
I like to doodle around. When Tavern Talk is on, I like to do a little song. Here comes our friends right now. Everybody take a shout. Here is Jono and Carolina from the couch.
Yeah! Yeah, that was amazing.
Hello, my friends.
So we texted Jono very early in the morning. We said, "Hey, buddy, you want to come join the show?" And he's like, "Hey, I've already been drinking, and I think it was 9:30 in the morning." So
soccer Sunday, baby.
Jono, do you have like a certain name you like to go under when you're this inebriated?
So, it's Jono. It's me. Is there a name? It's just. This is the thing I am. Real quick, I full disclosure, I love soccer. I play soccer, and my favorite holiday of all the holiday is to go for Boxing Day to go to a bar and watch every soccer game. And so therefore I showed up really early this morning because the English play, I'm very drunk. The English play is starting at 7:30. In this case, they were postponed because of COVID. So they started at 10. As they went to 10 to 5. So I've been drinking from 9 to, I'm Dolly Parton. Been drinking at 9 to 5.
9 to 5.
Hey, did you have bangers and hash?
No, I just had bangers. There was no mash. Which is a technical joke, but I'm not clever enough to make it.
All right, no, we'll give you time. We'll give you 5 minutes.
Who's your Premier League team, Jono?
I don't have a Premier League team.
Oh my gosh! All right.
Oh no!
Hold on.
Serie A?
I don't have a Serie A.
La Liga?
I'm a Swansea fan who used to be in the Premier League a few years ago.
Oh, the division like 4.
The Swans. Let's
go.
How
dare you?
All right,
championship.
All right, Jono.
Yeah,
here's the beauty of Swansea. Is Swansea, when they got into the Premier League, they are in Wales, correct?
Yeah, that is correct.
As a Welsh team, they have smaller stadiums than normal Premier League teams.
Yeah.
So they were housing Man United, Chelsea, Man City, Liverpool in a stadium that I think holds 9,000 people.
No, it's 19,000. It may have been 29, but either way, yeah, it's kind of funny. Anyway, we should probably move on to the next guest because Lord knows I'm a shit show and she deserves better.
Yes, both things are true.
No, I don't.
Carolina lives in the land of the Premier League. The Queen's blessing is upon her every morning.
Yeah, the blessing is definitely what happened to me this morning. So yeah, good to be with you all. I have my drink as well. I hope to get where you are momentarily, which will be difficult since you started 12 hours ago.
So Carolina, living in England as you do, what is a traditional Boxing Day celebration in London?
Oh god. Well, I mean, most of it is kind of because Boxing Day. To give you a little history, everybody, I told this to my mother this morning, so I'm going to repeat. Boxing Day is where you would give Christmas boxes to the poor. So Boxing Day is kind of stuff. I did not do that, but I did give a lot of clothes away. So I don't know. I tried. I did the thing I tried to do. But it's that, and then it's like eating all your leftovers and eat the leftovers, that sort of thing.
Okay, we do have a little tech monster with you right now, Carolina. There is a little sound.
Oh no,
squiddies.
Sound squiddies?
Sound
being
muggles.
weird.
Oh, hey.
I
Let
knew
me
it.
translate. Carolina, your sound is coming in and out a little bit.
Squiddies.
No,
I like sound.
Tech Monsters, little squiddies.
All right. 1 second. I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna restart my computer because she's been giving me trouble. I'll be back a few momentarily.
Good luck.
Sound
right back.
is
All right.
killing me.
All right. We got this. Morgan from the Podcast of the Dragon will be joining us shortly. She is off running Christmas errands, as is wont for the holidays, but she should be in within the half hour or so. Are you familiar with Morgan, Jono? Have you met?
Look, I drink a lot. I don't really know. I don't know. I don't know if you can see me just staring off into the distance. In the distance.
Look, I drink a lot.
I got to a bar and they said we can't serve alcohol this early, and I said, "Oh, that's unfortunate." And she said, "But we can serve you special coffee." And then she brought me a lot of special coffee, and that was 9:30, and that's 10 hours. Well, that's 9 hours and 47 minutes ago. And if I can do that math, I'm
so they couldn't sell cocktails until like noon? What do you live in, like Amish country?
Close enough. Live in Georgia. Technically it's 11 a.m.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, so here's the deal. I'm a shit show. If you want some dumb jokes, I'm here for it. If you want some real-time commentary, I'm here for it. If you want something in between, I'm probably fucked up.
No, you're good. You're exactly what we love about you each and every time. Jono, you are a friend. The door's always open to you. No apologies. You don't need to take off your shoes. Put them on the couch. Go ahead. Kick up your feet. Fuck it. Oh yeah, throw those corns and throw them up on there.
In the Age of Legends, brass knuckles were pretty inefficient.
That's the idea with children. They comported themselves fucking well in the Age of Legends. Am I right?
That's what the old Amerlin ring or
Tomerlin
used to be.
Tomerlin. That's
Tomerlin.
Was the Amerlin is Tomerlin.
Was just one of those rings that, like magicians, they have 3 of them and they combine 2 of them. They're like, ooh.
I'll tell you what.
Like, look at those dilated pupils.
Shame.
You know who would do well? Zoom back out again. Zoom back out. I feel like Catherine O'Hara would have fucking knocked this out of the park.
Lose, Theron. Lose. Yeah, that's.
I would watch that episode of what would it be called though? Like Throne Alone? I don't think the throne is technically right but I would watch Throne Alone all night long, all night.
Throne Alone, I like.
What did we all think of this cold open? And why do they call it a cold open?
Yes.
Well, my wife.
Okay.
My wife.
Yeah.
She's a White Walker.
Well, not really. She's kind of her name's
Honey,
Shan.
come here. She won't go on camera. Honey, come here. All right. I have a wife. Trust me.
Maybe I'm off my hinges, but I believe you.
What did she think about it?
Oh, why would I ask her? I don't know.
Okay.
I apologize to your audience, which deserves better. But,
they do. But It's fun. It's like this is like the moment when you meet your hero and you're like, oh no.
I fucking hope not. If there's anyone that even gives the approximation that this is something that you look up to and thinks funny, you're all done.
It's like if I met Chuck Norris and he like couldn't even do the splits or something.
Well, guys, I don't think we've given a proper introduction. This is Jono. This is 1/3 of the TwoTCast. TwoTCast is a podcast that pushes the boundaries and has been doing so for about 10 years. They are the first podcast that Ryan and I, not Wheel of Time podcast, but actual podcasts that we followed and listened to. They're I don't want to say vulgar because you guys are smarter than that, but you guys do have a salty edge, but I like what you're coming from. So TwoTCast is the granddaddies of all this stuff. You know, you want to climb Kilimanjaro now, you got Sherpas that this is before you could just call your travel agent and just get a Sherpa. Jono was climbing Mount Robert Jordan.
Everything is bad.
It's through the snow, through the elements.
Oh gosh.
I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm excited. I love this.
Oh gosh.
I think we might make you sick, so let's stop. Actually,
but John,
I am drunk, and I am loving this. Loving
it.
But TwoTCast is represented at every single Jordan Con that's ever happened. They are the first and the best. If you are not subscribed to their podcast, you guys are. I will forgive you because it's Christmas season and Jesus was born yesterday. However, fix that shit.
Right. My dad, who is in his late 70s, he's almost 80, always jokes about like I wasn't born yesterday. The idea that actually briefly very Jesus-like. I appreciate that so much.
So today, Jesus is super naive because he was born yesterday.
Who, by the way, super naive was in the show too. Yeah, music came briefly. So did I.
Well, let's jump back.
Yeah, she had a resurrection scene. She had
a lot going on here. That resurrection scene.
All right. Well, okay. Yeah.
Oh, real quick. Watch this. Watch this. I don't know if you guys have ever seen, but there is a podcast of the Wheel of Time called "What's Your Name?"
Okay.
What's your name? Us? The Way to Live?
The Way to
Yes.
Okay. The Way to Live.
And they are
The Way to Live.
Incredible.
Puppet, we're incredible. Yeah.
They're two fucking puppets that are goddamn amazing. And they rule the entire fucking not nomenclature, that's the wrong term, but the entirety of really what's going on in the fact that you guys can bow. Like I'm taking myself right out of it. You actually are more physically capable than I as a
lover.
I don't know. I love watching you guys. It's vaguely sexual, but at the same time, very sexual.
Oh, thank you. Someone's knocking at the door, Dan.
Yes.
Here we go.
The big
How
ass.
does it sound? Tell me.
Sounds
Is it
great
better?
right now. Yeah, it does sound good. Hopefully it'll sustain, but it sounds great.
Okay, let's see.
Yeah, someday England will get
All right,
some good
cheers to that.
internet.
Thanks for waiting.
Yeah. The Queen is still using a rotary phone for crying
No,
out
I'm
loud.
They use the Dewey Decimal System.
We do not trust Wi-Fi.
Hi, Carolina.
Prince.
You know, in Spain they call it Wi-Fi.
What did I miss? I'm sure Eddie.
Can you hear us? I don't know if she can hear us. Can you hear us? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh,
no,
okay,
can you
good.
not hear
What
me?
did you miss? Jono just
Yes.
started just praising us up and down effusively.
Yeah.
It was really
Yeah,
well thought
it
out.
was so good. It was
He
so good.
pulled out like a scroll.
It's
Just
good. Scrotum.
He pulled
I
his
was
scrotum out.
lifting my
He
scrotum up and down.
unfurled his scrotum, read the text. It was quite moving.
Quite.
Yeah.
Well, let's all right. So let's
sounds
jump into
moving.
the episode. Let's jump in. We do have some old tongue. Is that old tongue that we're hearing?
Sounds like it.
Okay. Where that Tamerlane is more handsome than beautiful. Can we say that?
That's a good way.
Who's commenting here? He
Wrong
looks like
Jordan.
he's briefly Italian with like it's not quite high enough to do it, but it's yeah.
All right.
So let me start off by saying this.
It's hard and
Apologies to
congruent
all of your
with
viewers,
him.
listeners, and everything of that. I am drunk. I'm not a very good person, and I apologize in advance. Secondly, I apologize to my dumb viewers, those who watch me personally on TwoTCast, the Wheels on Reread podcast, whatever the fuck else. I probably should have saved all of these dumb jokes for it, but I didn't, or I won't. Let's go.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what do we think? Did we think this is a good? What do we think of all this? There are some lore changes. It seemed. Were you upset we didn't get to see Ileana?
I Carolina. I don't know what you're thinking, but I am upset that we missed the entire Billy Zane piece.
All of it.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be the cold open. I thought they were just going to, save some time, save some money, slide that right in. I don't know. But
That'd be one cold open. Yeah.
instead, we just
think
think it's very attractive.
They could
just
pay
there.
this actor a quarter what they have to pay BZ.
I like
true,
this
that's
as a
true.
loose Theron. I'm wondering how we're going to manifest his voice in Rand's head, unless he just speaks English, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Now, let's take
Oh,
notice
yeah.
of this
That's
ring.
actually a good point.
That's not really you had
Oh,
mentioned
yeah,
it earlier
yeah,
as a
what the
joke, but like brass knuckles with a child.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he's like.
Pow!
There's a subtext here, like
I have the
know?
similar ring, Ryan.
Yeah, we
yeah?
all do.
That's
Yeah.
a cock ring.
Okay.
Ooh,
it's a cock
ring.
come on. Go
for
on.
you-
No, let's go back to that.
You
Let's go
got
to the
that one.
cock ring.
Sorry, I'm just.
Well, for a three-headed cock.
I just
Yeah,
thought I'd
I
sneak
mean,
that in
wait,
there.
hold
I
on.
didn't want to dwell on it.
I
Is
would
it
like to know.
adjustable? Because that's
Yeah.
big.
Speaking
That's
of
a
cocks,
big cock.
That's thick.
speaking of cock,
Yeah.
this,
I mean,
this
look
is
at
Cock
that. That's
City.
a bunch of dicks.
It's
No.
a bunch of dick.
This is
I
worse
thought it
than
was just
the
like-
It
Little
might be
I thought
too
it
Mermaid.
early in the show, but
I thought it was
Yeah.
just a bunch of child, but that's better.
Well, they all got like little. Yeah. Well,
I hate this.
well,
Oh yeah, me too. This is so cheaply. This seems cheap.
Yeah, this seems A, cheap, and B, wrong. Again, hey, you guys, LeafCast, stop me. Tell me when to stop. A, I'm drunk, and B, I'm unfiltered. It's like a come.
That's fine. You should watch our show so every once in a while. Clearly, you don't.
I haven't watched the show in years.
Yeah. What do you? I mean,
Fact
what do you
you're saying
think the fuck's
years
going
is
on down
probably-
here?
I hate that too.
You hate this?
I hate it all.
I do.
damn,
Okay,
that's a dragon,
funny.
isn't it? But it looks like a lion.
it is
Yeah.
a little weird.
It looks like with my wife and I were joking about, like this is like an angry owl. Just, "Wah!"
It looks
It's
like
not
a Dracula, like a.
Yeah,
Yeah.
someone's like holding a cape in front of his face, or like under his face, like whoa, that's his head over a cape.
An
It's,
angry
like,
owl.
it's pretty clear.
No, what do you think this is made of?
Definitely.
You
What
think
is-
that-
No, I think that they definitely were like, what if we did a dragon but not? They were like, we have to do something different, so we're going to put the wing as if it's a, kind of stealth mode.
So that's
now It
correct.
just looks,
Uh-oh, it's an ice
right.
now
dragon.
it just looks like something from the Muppets.
It's an ice dragon.
But, I'm just
Okay.
saying.
What would you do if the actual
Just being
name was
rude.
Dr. Aegon? It was like the DR actually had a small period. Is Dr. Aegon? It's like, oh, this all makes sense now.
Aside, I actually liked this set. I thought, and I liked the acting. I thought this whole scene was pretty effective. I like how the language sounded.
I don't hate
Or
it.
Latin.
And then, but then this is like, oh no.
It's a fucked up turnaround, right?
So-
like I don't.
Who was
Again,
that baby? What was that baby?
That
That's his
that's what-
baby. That's his baby.
hey, that baby's dead in a week.
Yeah, Luz Theron needed more shit to kill, so why not?
Look at that could be Perrin, like reincarnation of Perrin. Maybe Perrin is the baby reborn.
Baby reborn.
That's a giant
Well,
infant.
And when he
With
faces
Pinocchio,
off with
that's it.
Pat and Fane, he became the baby reborn.
Based off a different
Didn't
movie.
he
but
indeed?
Baby Reborn is
Jeez. Perrin crapped his big boy pants.
The baby
Yeah.
reborn.
Well, luckily they're hammer pants, so
All right, so
Let's go
speaking
right
of
to the
Perrin,
bottom.
we have this scene where they're like, we cool, and they fist bump,
Yeah, we're
Oh.
cool.
and
God.
they move on.
What'd you do if he had
that
the
was
same
so
thing on?
stupid.
Yeah.
All right, so a lot of people on Twitter are like, "Oh man, I wish they gave this guy more scenes because he's just so great." And so far, not feeling it. Not feeling it. I think he will get better. I like his physical acting. I like
In the beginning, he was great. He kind of dropped in talent a little bit in the last couple episodes. I agree with you, Ryan.
I would
His
swap
line-
that out. I would swap that out for talent with kind of story, because all he's given in the
Mm.
entire season after he
Yes,
killed his wife, which is one of my
Mhm.
biggest gripes, is mope. Like he has to just walk around
Uh-huh.
being like, "I'm sad, boy. I'm big, and I'm sad, and also I'm
Yeah.
sad, and sometimes I'm sad, but other times I'm sad."
Yeah.
Like even in this
You missed
picture,
a-
he's
You're right.
look
Hold on,
at
to be
look at
fair,
him.
you missed a few parts where he was also unhappy.
That's-
And
Well,
you know what?
on Tuesdays, he's pretty
Fair
bummed.
enough.
Now let's get into this. I'm not impressed with this this woman's acting. I think I can feel her reading her lines a lot, and it bothers me.
She cries really easy, Ryan.
Well, no,
with-
she's
She's
slowly.
she's super emotive, and when she's like distressed, and she has got a super expressive face, but when she's trying to like dig down and do like like the last scene of episode 7 when she's with Rand, I felt like I was watching a high school play. Okay, like they're just trading off lines, and it's
Is that a
bothering
show
me.
or is that a
I
play?
just think they don't have chemistry, so it just doesn't work for me. But I also think that like something you see with young actors a lot, and I say young actors as if I have any talent in the world, and I don't. And I do think she's doing a good job. I do think I like her for the most part. But something actors do is they get like really they do one thing when they want to be emotional, and she does this thing with her eyebrows. And you can even see it in this picture, but she's doing it the whole time, and you kind of just you start to not trust that it actually
Mhm.
means anything, because nobody feels that much emotion all the time, even when they are feeling a lot of emotion. So you kind of hopefully she'll watch the season and be annoyed with, because that's usually what happens. An actor will see themselves do something over and over again, and then like really work
Yep.
not to do it again.
Mhm.
Hopefully
Mhm.
she'll see that and kind of be annoyed with
Yeah.
herself, and
That's why I
so much.
film every lovemaking.
Really?
I do.
Right. You do? Yeah.
Yeah,
So you can learn stuff,
I
man.
film it and then
You
I
have to
just
learn.
hate watch it.
You got to learn. Yeah.
Can I ask you a question?
No,
Hate
Yes,
watch.
please. I hate watching myself. Yeah,
When
go
did
on,
you
Joe.
God, you
Start
suck.
filming
God.
that? Because unrelated, I feel like I need a lawyer.
Go on.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Go
Well,
on.
we didn't have sex, of course, but when did you start filming yourself and ourselves?
Oh,
When did you
yeah.
start filming?
Oh yeah. Oh, Jono, we'll talk later.
No, Jono, we are all about enthusiastic consent. That is our
Sorry, that took me far
motto.
too long to put together. I was like, there was a lot of things
Enthusiastic.
going on.
I actually,
Enthusiastic consent should be a website followed by just a lot of people doing this face.
yes means yes.
Exactly.
That's the
Yes means yes. Yeah.
All right, so we have. I think these two have better chemistry than Rand and her do.
I do.
Oh,
I actually think they're setting that up.
And I people were really surprised that he has the hots for her, and I wasn't. I thought Morgan came on after episode 1, kind of clued us into the idea that something's going on there, and I see it. I saw it in almost every scene they had together. They gave some sort of hint like that he was focused on her. I thought it was really well done, and it felt a lot like how Robert Jordan would write. Like they
Exactly, that's
no one's
exactly what I was
expressing
gonna
their
say.
feelings. Yeah, no one's
Exactly what I
expressing
was
their
gonna say.
feelings. Yeah,
But that's not necessarily a
That's why
good thing,
Barney
'cause that's
Harris
probably
left.
one of his weakest things is that you're like, oh, they're together now, and he's like, they were in love the whole time. Check chapter 2, second line from book 800, and you might find something.
Didn't you see when Nynaeve smoothed her skirts? She was obviously in love.
Yeah. Or
You
wait,
know
what
Oh,
was
we
it?
talk about that too.
Maureen and Tom, like when she snickers at him when he like pulls
Yeah.
out his knives in a fucking Tarn Ferry.
Yeah, there's
Is that
like
the
four.
moment?
There's
She
literally,
like,
I think there's 6 things between them. Like you're like, oh, he like whispers to himself, if she wasn't Aes Sedai, and we're supposed to get that means if she wasn't Aes Sedai, I would go for it all the way home, dude.
All the way home.
And he didn't even like.
and he kept calling her a remarkable woman. No, I mean, it was all subtle, and I'm all down for that. I like those relationships better than the ones that just like oh, you like me, I like you. And
That's
then
true. I like a slow burn. I don't know if we want to talk about this yet, but Nynaeve and Lan, I like them. I think they do have good chemistry, but like him saying that to her, so like I feel like that would have been really great at the end of season 2, or if he did say it now, like something way less. I mean, I was part of me was like so happy because it was just exactly from the book, and it was the only thing in that episode that really, felt inspired by the book. But this
got me. This got
Yeah.
me.
I loved it, but I do think it would have felt, more severe, like more painful if we actually, because they've only banged once. Like I just feel like they need a bit of time to think.
They
about
banged many times. It was just one
right
evening. Hold on. No, she didn't sleep that whole night. Come on, Lan is a stallion.
Well, part of me is like she was gonna leave though. Like that whole her leaving because she thought he was like bonded. I was like, this just makes me feel like he didn't do a really good job. Like I don't know.
Yeah, she was all grumpy in the morning. I was like, yeah, he hit it. He hit it and quit and fell asleep.
Well, I mean, a question for any of you.
Thank you.
Have you
Jono.
ever had bad sex and decided I'm going to leave early?
Well,
you're right. Where? In some ways, you kind of have to stay longer.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly where I'm going. If anything, you're kind of like, well, this should have been better.
Wow.
I feel like
Jono
enters and leaves like love-making situations like Kramer. Enters a scene.
Alexander, thank you for joining us here. I have not seen your name before. I welcome you. And yeah, some of the actors are in an acting clinic that Rosamund Pike is kind of teaching.
Alexander Erickson is actually Rosamund Pike's other name.
Wait. What are we learning here? What just happened? Rosamund Pike has to like teach him how to act better?
No, I don't think she does that. I do think it's probably hard. Like you can see like in some scenes, I think Priyanka Bose is amazing, the woman who plays Alana.
Yeah.
And you can see when somebody is actually really talented next to Rosamund, how much the screen lights up. Mm-hmm. But then when somebody like, I think Yosha did a really good job. Actually, he was holding his own with her. That's actually the only part of the episode I really like.
Honestly, we haven't spent much time on, for the betterment of you. We haven't spent much time on camera, you and I. Who do you actually, of the main characters, like whom do you like?
Who do I like of the show characters?
Yeah.
Well, up until this episode, I wasn't blown away by Yosha, but that was again because he wasn't given much to do. How I feel
which is ironic considering what actually happens. He's the Dragon Reborn, by the way.
Is he indeed? That was
shocking. Oh God! Spoiler alerts! Where's the spoilers?
No, I like Rosamund Pike. I like Nynaeve. I really like Barney Harris.
Yeah.
And that's kind of. I mean, I like the rest of them, but those 3 were the ones that I was actually impressed by.
Yeah, they're powerhouses. All 3 of
Barney
them.
Harris, Barney Harris, I feel is going to be a loss for the show. The guy, when he's on screen, it's hard not to watch him. He is very charismatic. Yeah. He is one of the more natural performers that I see. He is Matt to me.
My gut is that they just kind of cast him because he is him, and that just is, and because he is,
and Matt's just problematic.
Yeah, and he's got all the problems that come along with being Matt. Yeah, that's true.
He just pissed the wrong person off.
I feel like it's got to be something like. Well, it doesn't matter. Like it's got to be something. Like I just hope he's healthy. Is really kind of like my thought is. Like, yeah, something like that. Like, he actually has been in Shadar Logoth, and he's got whatever that.
That's funny. I used the word trollop last week.
Yeah.
Trollop.
I won't. I
It's not
mean,
used enough.
I won't give
No.
any context.
Well,
for that
technically, they
statement, but I
are
did
on
use that
occasion
word.
used enough, but yeah, as a term. Now.
Oh, there you go.
So
Yeah.
let's talk about the blight a little bit.
Fuck no.
Yeah.
Gonna be a no for me, dog.
So someone,
The blight just seems like if you take a really long nap, you may have a mushroom grow out of your head. You may have moss grow on your hand if you take a little nap. But if you fall asleep for 8 hours, then you're just going to be consumed.
No.
Right? Maybe. I mean, is that kind of it?
Oh God, I just hated how it looked like copy and paste. Like they got.
It looked like that.
one
That's good enough
picture.
for me.
They kept going through
Oh.
it. I saw the same scene like 2 or 3 times
Yeah,
where
and
Maureen
always
is walking
close up.
ahead. Yeah.
I don't know. It's like it's like a problem I see a lot in the show. There's so many things that feel like sets.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's
Yeah,
so weird. Like, if you were to tell me they had or was it $10 million an episode, right? Certain
Yes,
things,
it's so crazy.
certain things are brilliant and beautiful, and certain things are cheap.
Yeah,
Like,
and
yeah.
trashy. Yeah.
Just come up.
Yeah.
Start off cheap, almost like not like
Well, remember the very,
Right.
very, very first scene we ever had was them chasing down the hippies, and that seemed like the most low budget piece of trash I've seen. And I was instantly getting depressed. It quickly turned around, but the fact that they couldn't kind of even spruce that up somehow and change the lighting somehow, post production the shit out of it to make it look better. But yeah, like I see the
Yeah.
costumes, I see the light, I see the lighting, I could see the set, I could feel the set.
This
I like-
blight does not seem scary.
Scary.
It seems inconvenient. It's at most
Yes, good point.
inconvenient. That's a
She
good
said,
one.
"Don't fucking touch anything," and then they sit down on rocks,
and then they're
and
leaning on the trees. Yeah.
Yeah,
fuck?
let's take a quick nap. You
The
can't
real
take a
blight
nap
had-
in there.
Had trees that would kill you and stuff, like would actively try to eat you.
Also,
Yeah.
it seems like it would have been easier to follow the real blight, like the idea of like my wife Shanda, who's obviously a blow-up doll, so of course forgive anything she says, but like she was just so frustrated because fuck, this guy looks like he just left the party drunk. Like this,
Look at his shirt's on
He's
top.
waiting,
But-
the dude's waiting for his Uber outside of a at like a TJ Fridays.
Hey, what did you look at this?
Is that the
Notice
three
this?
thing? There it is. That's the cock ring.
Oh, well done, cock ring.
what's that supposed to be? Like that's not like
That
it looks
well,
like
I
a
mean,
trap
that's
to me.
It's a scrunchie.
is he just so is he so obsessed with them that he like is wearing his jewelry after he died?
honestly, I love the scrunchy idea because I used to have hair down to my mid chest, right? And for years I would just do that. And it was,
Why would your hair grow over the front of your face?
That's awesome.
I love the idea of the hair just sprouting out of my mid chest instead. That's even weirder.
So weird.
Oh, good,
but-
good.
Like so for years I actually felt like doing that, and then after I got it cut, I used way too much fucking shampoo and conditioner.
I gotta see this.
But
What's
B,
happening?
there was just a couple scrunchies in the middle of my car, like on the fucking gear shift, and I was like, well, I don't need this shit anymore. What if that's what that is?
That's
all
okay.
right.
Just like a scrunchie for two people who don't have long hair. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
Yeah.
They,
so
just,
do I.
they both don't really. Yeah, that's really funny.
He's
Yeah,
just being practical.
he needs a beard scrunchie. This
Yeah.
is funny. He makes the funniest sound when he pulls a sword on me. He's like, "Oh,
Oh!
Yeah.
I did like him a
love this
lot. I
dude.
thought he was great.
And
I
I
think
think-
it was great too. But what do you think of the portrayal of him?
Yeah.
I don't
I'm okay
love
with
the
that.
portrayal, but I think given what the fuck he's supposed to be, he's fantastic. But but again, he's a shit as Shamiel. He's a
Wow,
shit
look
as
at this
Shamiel.
fucking nose. Wow, I didn't notice that thing. That is
Ooh, that's a
thing.
flex. How do you flex that?
He's doing a nose flex. Yeah.
Oh, damn.
That's years of doing blow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if they're gonna make him like crazier, or I think they must be going in a totally different direction because
where are they not
that
going in
changes
a
his arc
totally
entirely
different
if he's
direction?
not crazy. Which is, the thing I've found with the show is that, and that I'm trying to get from this episode, because this episode is really, it has been hard for me to get my mind around, is that I'm just gonna let it go. I'm just gonna let it go, and then maybe it'll be entirely different because it feels so different right now that I'm like, okay, so maybe if I just don't think about the logistics of things, like for instance, him not being crazy means that the whole him being the Dark One thing kind of becomes really bizarre when he knows who he is.
Yep.
But then it's like maybe they're gonna go a wholly different way. Maybe it's gonna be that he does know that he's not the Dark One, but he's tricking all these idiots into thinking he's the Dark One, and they're going to go a totally different kind of, because he is tricking people. That whole swan thing is a trick. Her having the dream. It seems to me like it was a trick. I don't know. But,
I did not like the way that I did not like this at all. But once we got the man who kind of looked like the lawyer,
this guy?
Once we got this guy, I was kind of down with him. I'm like, okay, I really liked how he was in two worlds at once and holding two conversations, which seems I can't even read and listen to a podcast at the same time. I liked his thing. I didn't necessarily like him telling Moraine, "Oh, he's channeling now." No, what do you know? Especially when she had a knife to his throat.
Yeah, like why would he be so bald? Yeah, bald-facedly. Like,
but as an Ishmael, I'm on board. I'm on board with I want him to fight for me. He's gonna get me $2.1 million if I get into a civil litigation.
I thought.
Did you guys watch The Magicians?
What?
Did you guys watch the TV show The Magicians? Which was
I don't watch TV except for the Wheel of Time. And I do is now I'm wondering what my life is all about now.
Go on with your point, though.
Go on, The Magicians.
He just would say something that was straight out of The Magicians to a certain extent, and I hadn't put it together until right now, staring at him. It looks that level of like that dude could have been just a character in The Magicians. Did
you guys like it? Like right after he did this whole thing, the first line he said was "my wife."
My wife. He does look.
My sister's number 3.
High five.
Prostitute and all of Paradisen.
God, the nose flash is amazing.
Yeah. It's a good.
All right, so apparently you don't die in the dream world. That's a big rule change.
He could be invading.
That idea though from Rand. Also, by the way, pretty high stakes if you're wrong. Just a quick heads up.
Right, he did see a bunch of dead bats. He saw a shitload of dead bats that died in a dream and were there in real life.
Yeah. But you know what? He's the ultimate gambler, I guess. Matt's a fucking piece of shit when it comes to gambling.
So basically, I watched this episode like standing up. Sometimes like this happened, I'm like, "Fuck yeah, fuck yeah, fuck that guy, Rand's badass." And then like 5 seconds later, I'm like, "What? Why did he?"
Wait a minute. Hold on.
And the whole time, I was like super excited, like viscerally, like they were tugging
well, not viscerally, because he spilled those out.
They tugged at my heartstrings. They tugged at like
same with Algamar. Algamar is such a horrible little sequence there.
I don't know why he died.
Did he die?
Damn. He's Lord Algamar, the not so great captain.
Brother Dan, I'll be honest. Like, so one of the things, and I apologize for just yelling over everyone, but I'm
let's count all the apologies. I think there's been 10 so far.
Do it.
I love apologies. That's how I have sex. I'm so sorry about this.
I'm sorry.
My brother will never recover though.
Others say yes, you say sorry.
Yeah. But like, brother, like Algamar earlier in the episode, this episode 7, it bothered me because I was pissed off. I was like, this is not how a Lord of the Blight should act, right? He's kind of a dick to Moraine. He's not kind, right? Like they're supposed to be so just wonderfully perfect Sorry, my cat's spinning around. That's not even a joke. Just jumped into a chair. But like it.
But first off, why? Okay, why would the fucking horses just start charging and you have a group of men on foot?
It's awful.
By the time they get to the fucking wall, they're gonna be like have to wait.
It's awful. Why not build 2 walls? Right? Why not build 2 fucking walls?
Okay, yeah, okay.
Literally,
This whole thing.
Get up the gap.
This is so obviously just like cut and paste multiplied like people's. It's so dumb. This whole
bad.
shot bothers me.
Certain pieces of this are
It's
just
like fake.
bad.
It's like a fake grandiosity. They're just like so many times I felt like cheated, like
Yeah.
through different scenes. Like okay,
I don't know why they wouldn't have the channelers on the wall. They
that?
can channel from anywhere.
oh and yeah. And this shit just looks so
God,
bad.
the VFX were bad.
Yeah.
Like
I just think they didn't have
daytime.
enough time to do this episode.
You had $10 million. Apparently, is what the rumor says. You had $10 million to do this
Per episode, right. And so my wife, when she was watching, she saw the blight. She thought it looked like the fire swamp from Princess Bride.
Yeah,
But the fire
it
swamp
does,
was
yeah.
scarier because there was lightning sand, there were ROUSs that would attack you.
And weird animals. Yeah.
There wasn't any of this.
So he's
Okay.
alive.
Blight.
He's fine.
Nothing in this whole entire fucking experience of watching these 8 episodes made me more mad than this. This is the biggest trope. This is Planet Z. The body
This is,
trolley
Helm's Deep.
ladder, like the whole ladder thing.
yeah. I
is
see what you're
just-
talking about. Yeah, it's from World War Z.
this is so dumb, and I'm sure I've seen it in other movies before too. This is such a trope.
There was something in Lord of the Rings where they climbed up
Helm's
ladders
Deep.
like
World
that.
War Z to do it. Like, there's so many. Like,
Well,
again,
no, they had ladders.
just
I'm fine with
yeah,
ladders.
Oh,
A ladder
are they
makes
just
sense.
climbing up over each other?
No, they're
It-
just running
can't
up
see it
their
so dark.
cells. These are just like bodies, and it's not. It's
It's
not
the
even very
cheerleader
clear.
method. It's cheerleader method.
They're just like stacking,
What you do? There's just one person at the bottom, just like
and then they get on top, and then they have like axes, and they're trying to like bust their way in, which is I mean, this.
Well, Jono,
really-
there's 2 Trollocs on the bottom who are like catchers. If someone falls, they're
Mr.
like
Mike Harold.
they lock
Okay.
arms and they catch right in their crook of their arm.
But
I mean,
so
we
real
were
quick-
talking about like we saw one Trolloc eat another Trolloc just because it, he
Yeah,
was
why
elite.
not?
But like now they're organized. Yeah, this is weird.
This is the thing that bothered me. Like, and I if you'd watched our episode on
Look at
TwoTCast,
those
the
bricks.
podcast,
I haven't watched it in years. Sorry.
but why would you? It's bullshit. Our show sucks.
Touche.
I'm very happy to tell you that. But if you're dumb enough, drunk enough, or open enough, like you would find out that we yelled the fuck about how much Agomar just did not seem to follow Agomar's, the real ones, anything, right?
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Follow like so again. All right, let's say episode 7 happens and he doesn't follow a trajectory. The only thing that was redeeming idea in my mind was like pretty much like what's his name? Not Grim Tongue, Worm Tongue kind of idea, right? Like let's say his sister, who actually apparently could channel somehow, was kind of there to do it. A Worm Tongue approach kind of makes sense for why he's not what you expect. Instead,
Right.
he just dies here.
Yeah.
Like he's just
Is
a
he
betrayal of everything that, like, for a character, like, why change? Like, what bothers me is this: why the fuck change things that are already written in the books? Like that, like the hubris involved to change certain aspects of a legitimate, like, well-known character really irritates the fuck out of me, and I apologize for your languages.
No. I would hope you'd watch your fucking mouth, would you?
I think I get what you're saying though, in the sense that, like, especially with like smaller side characters, keep the core characters as much as you can, but if you need to change them to make it fit your huge,
they can have a
large plot,
If you
then I
die one
get it.
episode later,
Yeah, but like with
Why?
him, it's like but then maybe we're wrong. Maybe he's going to play a bigger role, which I'm not sure if I want that. But but either way, it's like this character can just be what the book character is like because the book character is great. He is flawed in the book. Spoiler, won't say what, but he does have a weakness. And
Small
then
that's a spoiler show. You can talk about anything.
yeah,
oh, it's such a big one though. That's the biggest one.
This is Tavern Talk.
Full spoilers. We go everywhere.
Okay.
Full
Well,
series.
when he kind of leads it's not really technically a flaw, I guess, because it's something compulsed. So in a way, it's not really his flaw.
No.
He was one of the first to fall, so you kind of are like, okay.
This made me mad
but
too.
then again,
This
it doesn't make me mad. He feels infallible when that happens. So if they keep that in, if he's the general at the end of the books, he's not going to feel infallible because we saw him, in this fashion, criticizing an Aes Sedai before he even lets her speak, not having asked for help when the person that could have told him he needed help tells him he does, and he doesn't listen to her. Then he goes to the wall and almost gets killed instead of, protecting his fortress.
People. Yep.
And then he has terrible battle tactics, but that's like a whole different thing. That
So he
nobody else
basically
cares about.
Terrible. Yeah.
He
I mean,
just
like
slowed
everything
him
about
down.
him so far, other than his outfits, which are sick. Looks fucking lit, and also that picture of him in the circle, like that they used in the preview of episode 7. I was like, this is gonna be awesome, and I was ready for it, and then it was not.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I think they're combining a little bit of Inktar sacrifice with Algamar.
Yeah, because I mean that's the thing. Like the worm tongue thing would be cool because then maybe if it was like a thing that was infiltrating the entirety of the leadership, then it would make sense because he does kind of sabotage his own country there for.
I totally just feel like this is a fake beard, right? This is fake. This felt like.
Yeah.
This felt so fake, and like this seems real. All right, so this is another scene that really annoyed me. They walked out and they just assumed this like perfect form, like you can almost see the X's on the ground where they had to stand to make sure everyone's got their shot.
Did you not hold on?
We really needed to see this guy, right? Like why couldn't he be?
Look at his bone structure. You got to get him in there.
Yeah, did you not see the X's below him? They're standing perfectly where they should be. I don't understand your fucking deal.
That's what they learn first day of battle training.
I hope Uno gets bloody well resurrected and bloody well has a better.
Can you zoom into that eye socket, please?
Yeah.
What's
That's what she said.
It's an eye. Is that an eye on an eye patch?
It's kind
Not
of
really.
It's an angry eye.
Honestly, I kind of dig that.
I've got an angry eye right now. I've had a lot of Buffalo sauce.
I swear to God, I like the costume. If I was like, I feel like this would be something I would see it at like at a con. Someone like dressed up and like wore it.
Because it doesn't quite fit his breast.
Like, there are a few incredible people like Paul Bialchik and some other dudes who honestly come close with their abilities to create this type of shit, like on a personal basis for a con. None of these, like, no disrespect to these dudes, like these are actors who are doing they have nothing to do with the. But like these guys.
Look at little Uno.
Why is Uno? Everything I've heard about him, he's awesome. Like
he's a little tiny. Yeah, he's a little.
I like him. Honestly, I don't care. Every time he's on screen, I was excited.
Everything he's done has been amazing. I want more of
Uno
him.
As being.
I think a lot of people aren't dead. Yeah. I'm so hopeful that a lot of people aren't dead, and that I'm really just hoping the next episode somebody balefires some shit and the whole thing is taken back.
All right.
No offense to you. No offense. If they use fucking balefire in the next scene, I'm out of here too. Like I'm out of here.
Well, all right. Well,
it's a really cheap cop out. They
talk
won't
about
do
it.
that.
So we did. So what killed the bearded guy?
Which bearded guy?
The dark one they called him. We could say it's Ishmael. We could say it's
Ishmael.
No, he's not dead. He's not dead.
We could say it's Agonor. But was that Balefire?
No, I think he just I think that he just disappeared and made it look like that because he wanted them to think he's dead.
Wait, but I mean, he had to use enough power to break the goddamn seals.
Plus, Loyal.
Yeah, I think it was a trick.
Got
Yeah.
stabbed with the dagger, which is an instant death dagger as we know it.
Hey,
All right, go ahead, Jono.
Jono's flexing.
Jono.
Ooh.
Jono.
It's not very good flex.
I'm impressed.
Those are lean Rand muscles.
No, those are good. That's a swimmer's build right there, buddy.
Yeah, that's what they call me, swimmer's build, because I look like cum. It's all over me. But let's just have my dad. He's a joker.
Your dad's a joker? Your dad was Heath Ledger?
No, before he died.
No, his dad was massaging Heath Ledger when he died.
Yeah, well, either way, great hands. The whole point here, though, is I've lost it. I'm pretty drunk. I can't remember things. I was gonna have this tangible point about how much I don't like. Where were we before with the dick jokes? Where were we with dick jokes?
Well, we were talking about Loyal, I think. I think I mentioned Loyal getting stabbed with a dagger.
We talked about Bale firing it all and changing.
Oh,
it
yeah.
back.
Spoiler alert, there will be dick jokes.
And then a big dick joke right in the middle, and I can't remember what it was. I think it was.
Don't worry about it. I'm good to go now. I'm fascinated and totally disappointed by what they've done, really, with like Loyal dead. But by the way, according to an interview, he's alive.
Oh my god! That when I heard that, I'm like, what is happening? This is like,
All right.
This is not good.
All right, so
right?
This really reminds me of The Princess Bride, where the little boy who the grandpa's reading the story gets agitated, and it cuts away, and he goes, "The princess doesn't die here." He's like, "What the fuck?" He's like, you seem nervous." He's like, "I wasn't nervous. I was maybe
That's exactly
concerned."
Yeah.
That's exactly it. But you know what? If the show had gone full camp like Princess Bride, I would be down. Like I would. I think if they just went with
I
one
think I
tone,
would be too.
And if it was that tone,
yes.
I would just immediately, because that's the thing for me. I think so many episodes, there's parts where I'm like, oh fuck yeah, fuck yeah, and then there's parts where I'm like, This episode was more of the latter, which I'm sad to say because I don't like what are your cloak of
to
sorts,
me,
but...
and you're not asking. To me, 1 through I think it's 1 through 4 are like good fucking episodes. 5 and 6, I'm like, what the fuck? 7, I go, we're back on track, and then 8, I actually like the season finale, which is not a great way to end. I just did this.
Yeah. That's what I did as well. I haven't been. I've usually watched them again and again just to even when I didn't love them, like even episode 5, which is next to this one, my least favorite. I was like, still watching it again. This one I can't get myself to watch it again. I need to because I know that part of it is just like breaking my own head canon and stuff. But
you have time.
Hard.
Right,
you have a whole year to watch it again.
Let's talk about some of the changes they made and see if we think that they were forgivable and understandable, or if they could have included them.
Okay, I'm gonna get a beer.
All right,
trash.
Yeah.
2 for 2 on getting beers.
Okay, go ahead and get beers. Ryan and I we'll just talk. You're getting a beer too, Jono?
Well, yeah, but I'm wearing pajamas, so I've got to like get up sideways. I don't want my dick to fly back.
Okay.
Woo! We just saw some side dick.
I think we saw Oh, this is a great episode. I'm having a great time, Dan.
I am too, Ryan. And happy Christmas. I hope
for the record, when I'm showing the stills, I cannot see the screen. I'm only controlling the stills, so I pop back in. There's 200 comments I have not seen. You guys are awesome.
Well, here, someone get Susan a margarita.
Yeah.
Please.
Come on, guys. It's Tavern Talk. So, I just let's take this opportunity to thank our Patreon members. You guys really mean the world to us, and we can safely say we do it because you guys are supporting us so heartedly, and it means the world to us. This is a labor of love, and sometimes it's hard to love what you do. Does that make sense? I edit a lot.
Ryan,
I sit in front of a computer a lot editing. I get bored.
Ryan, we were on with the Maidens of the Spear, and we watched the Billy Zane produced version of Winter's Dragon. And gosh darn it, this last viewing I saw was the best viewing I'd ever experienced. And I was like, man, Billy Zane and that crew knew what they were doing. They had this shit going on. I was really down.
As powerful as Sidime.
Yep. I was down with them. I was down with the Zane.
I don't know.
Dan here is the man.
I think you're wrong.
There you go. No.
All right, I'm back. Let's do this.
Yeah, the entire time I was like,
What am I seeing?
actually, though, they did better at hiding. It didn't feel like a set. It felt like they actually like took over someone's house, which was nice. All right, so Carolina, yeah. So, what would be your kind of your overall like biggest criticism of the series?
Oh. Okay. I think it's inconsistency of tone, because there are things I love about the show. And like, you know, to be fair, I still think I will enjoy the show. I think what I'm going to try to do now is to not see it as a book reader as much and just kind of watch it as an audience member, because when I do that, then I'm like, oh, this is cool and that's cool and that's fine. It's only hard when you know, the books are so good, and it's fine. I think it's fine to just kind of let that go and be like, okay, the show just won't be as good as the books in some ways, but might be better in other ways, because I know it already has been better in other ways. But for me, the tone is where I think, just show-wise, audience-wise as well, like there's times where, like you said, like sometimes it looks really good and then sometimes it doesn't look awesome. And it's kind of like seeing two things next to each other, one scene that has really good CGI in it, and then the next scene having really bad CGI, and then one scene having very good acting in it, and one scene having inconsistent acting in it. Those things make it feel a bit, you know, you stop and go. And I think that's actually just a new season, fresh season kind of out the gate feeling. And once they get that sorted, maybe they'll also kind of sort out the changes they're making that are not always necessary, because I think they're trying to find tone so much that they're making all the characters a little bit, in their writing wise, more interesting than book, where there's a lot of characters that are just awesome, like Agomar, like Amelisa, all these characters that don't really have personalities outside of being really cool.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
So, but that you know, that might not be a problem. Maybe they're just trying to make them more interesting, but maybe they'll get to the point where they realize it's kind of good to have characters that aren't as interesting, so that you can focus on your Emmons Field 5, which I think that's my next biggest thing. We didn't focus enough on the Emmons Fielders. So tone and Emmons Fielders is my.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jono, what would be your main criticism of the entire season? We're just gonna go start cutting it down, and then we'll build it back up.
Everything that was just said right now, just listen to that. Like that, what you said was probably correct, almost to the nth degree, right? Who are the most important characters? Emmons Field 5. What did we see? Not the Emmons Field 5 for most of it, right? Like that's not really where some of the points were. And I'm okay with that as we're trying to create we're trying to create our own thing here. Okay, fine. I'm totally cool with that. But at the same time, again, and I'm reductive as shit, so I apologize, but taking Adolin and not making him, taking his actual character is supposed to be a very kind, considerate character, and his sister was awesome, and you were worried about how she played into the Retta job because she was too kind, and instead, what happens instead is the opposite, right? Agomar is kind of a dick, it seems like. It's not as bad as
total dick.
Viewing. And then he just gets fucking skewered maybe he's alive again. Maybe, which I hate the idea that there's any sort of reprieve from that because of an article you read. That shouldn't be how that goes. But
It's almost as bad as like the companion saying Bella's lives.
yeah, I wish, honestly, I wish they'd said Bella lived briefly and then there was just grinding to horse meat. Would have been funnier than shit. But anyway, it's different. And I can't wait to be fucking murdered because I said that. Also, very tender Bella. Because she'd been healed at least once.
Heals?
Her tender, youthful roots, which is what I call my penis. But anyway, so I like
LaRusse?
Tender, youthful roots. I like LaRusse. That's just
okay.
Which also is correct.
I thought you said I'd name my penis LaRusse.
That just means red. That's not a good thing. And it's also feminine. Totally up to you. But it's not really the best dick name. If up to you. It's your call.
What is okay? Well, we'll get into that later. What is
Best
So
nickname? Ryan.
thank you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank
That's what I
you.
call my dick.
Thank you.
That's what I call my wife's dick.
Thank you.
That's what I call my dad's dick.
I was wondering where we were going. Are we going any further? That's nice. Oh no, I'm phased out.
All right.
What?
That,
Because
I got pushed
it says-
backstage.
that
I
was a
just
dick
wanted you to give a
preview.
moment with yourself.
Yeah. I call everything
How
Ryan.
dare you?
Yeah, I've had a traumatic mid-30s.
Uh-huh.
Anyway,
When was that?
Where?
What?
where was I going? Yeah.
Well, he
Oh.
said traumatic mid-30s. I thought it had to do some finger blasting.
No, it was just grabbing you, Ryan.
I hear you. All right, so you're in agreement with Carolina that your main gripe is the inconsistencies and lack of the Evans Field 5.
Carolina is way smarter than I, but yeah, that's exactly how I would describe it.
I have probably had less beer than you. I don't think we're gonna go IQ yet.
Fewer.
I had,
but-
so,
exactly.
yeah,
You see.
so this
You
is
see what I
this
see?
is the truth right here. Like I seriously just watched very little television, and
Television.
you know I've been like diving into. Is it not called television anymore?
It's called
I don't
the
watch.
boob tube.
I don't watch the boob tube anymore.
Singularly
fuck
called the
no.
boob tube. Nobody calls it anything else now.
What
Just
do the
boob tube.
kids call it these days? But so I can't tell you whether or not this stands up amongst its peers, right? Like if I think about this compared to maybe the first season of Game of Thrones, I feel like it's not as like maybe as good, but then Game of Thrones falls apart and I
Well,
feel like this
and
has
Game of Thrones, pretty much, if
Game
you
of
watch
Thrones?
Game of Thrones,
Game of Thrones.
if you watch it, it pretty much follows the first book. I mean,
love
it is a more or less scene by scene, not a direct scene by scene, but there are not these
It's very faithful.
Departure.
deviations.
Yeah.
I think I'd say the only because I was in shock after this episode. I'm always in shock though. Like that sounds dramatic. After every episode, I'm in shock because it's so hard to watch. And even if it was amazing, it would be really hard to watch.
Yeah, because it's so different.
And it's just so. I mean, it's literally your heart. You're watching, something that has been a part of your life for as long as you've loved the Wheel of Time. But I think anyone that has actually read all the books and is reading the books is such an experience. Then to see it on screen is like emotionally traumatic because it's like
Yeah.
seeing your child out in the world and them not choosing to do anything the way that you hoped they would, while also being proud of them anyways and still
When did you start reading? Look, that's
not as I'm not an old comer. I've only read them 2 years ago now.
okay. Yeah. So like again, I love that as an answer, not because that's as pedantic as a fucking like I love that as an answer, but I think that's fascinating. Like
Yeah.
that's a legitimate like there's nothing more annoying than people, myself included, who are like, well, I read this 25 years ago. That's not what I saw. Like, all right, dickhead. Again, I literally read this 25 years ago. Like, that's not fun to hear. But people who are like literally, Carolina come lately, as they say, like come here and they see that and they're just kind of like, that doesn't match. That's like what bothers me is there's this. And I hate saying it, right? And I also interjected the fuck into your.
It's all good.
No,
I don't-
it's good.
sexual.
I wanna hear it.
I interjected the fuck into you. But like,
Thank
and
you.
there's the thing that like all of race interviews have been like, well, we've got this because what we're doing, and I think readers are going to like it, and I think that people are going to like it. Like, no, dickhead, we don't. No offense, you're not a dickhead. You've done a great job. I'm so glad you brought a thing that doesn't.
I love that. I love that whole thing. No, dickhead, you're not a dickhead. Sorry, you're great. We appreciate you. This is my
Write that one
opinion.
down.
Thank you
Like,
very
that's
Remember, I'm not a good person.
Right.
I love that. That was great.
and I think I haven't been chill, but I have been mostly positive.
Yeah, you have to be, right? Because it doesn't suck. You have to be positive.
Yeah.
However,
Watching
this last episode, here's what I'm feeling. I'm feeling that the entire second book that's called The Great Hunt regarding this Horde of Valir, that they just happen to dig up under a throne and everyone fucking knew where it was. There was no hunt. They all knew it was there. They're like, all right, time to get the pickaxes. Farron, you want to help? Here's a shovel.
And they won't even keep it a secret from these strangers from the two rivers. And then they hear some fighting and they're like, and they leave it.
Just dump it. Yeah.
They put it down. They're like, oh,
how do you walk away? You know what's more important than any of these things? The fucking Great Hunt, right? Like the Horde of Valir is literally the most important thing that they know about ever. Yeah. And they let these like, well, what may or may not be happening at the, fucking Tarwin's Gap, which, by the way, we'll talk about. Fuck it, we don't need to talk about it. What's more important than any of that is apparently 5 fucking construction workers doing a couple of pry bar work and get the fuck out of here with a horn.
I assume it was part of the user manual that, like, all right, if this happens, then
in case of emergency,
yes,
blow it up.
However, that horn would have been way more secure if they didn't break up all that concrete for 20 minutes and then just leave it and then just leave. That was weird.
You know what we should do? We should get really fucking drunk and just yell about all the inconsistencies.
I think that's what we're doing.
Yeah. I mean, I'm halfway there. You're there, right? You're there, Carolina.
Look,
it's 8 o'clock. That's it. Oh my god. I am so sorry.
I'm drinking for 12 hours. Well, you can just pretend you're in London. It's 1 a.m. So we can...
So the Horn of Valir to me was diminished.
It was awful.
It's them like, oh, is there fighting down the hallway? Let's leave it.
Oh, wait. I think I hear something. Let's go.
Yeah, so we don't even get to see these people who are, again, wearing the most amazing armor. Maybe.
And with the magnificent beard. That dude has a beard to be proud of.
Yeah, we don't see any sword fighting. Yeah. There's a fucking war going on, and there's not one sword fight battle. We couldn't even see them try to defend themselves at all. They just say, Uno, you look great, dead. This guy, you look great, dead. Blood splattered face. This guy.
Are we to assume that they that Fane showed up with 2 fades in order to get the horn and then bolt the fuck out?
Yeah apparently it's sufficient. Why not?
Okay.
I think the only question I have is that Ingtar was on the ground, wasn't he?
Ingtar. He let him in.
But then Ingtar's dead, right? Like,
we don't know who Ingtar is.
I don't know who Ingtar is.
Wait, which one's Ingtar?
Ingtar's the guy with the beard. Oh, this is casting stuff. No, we do know that, but maybe we don't know that, but we do know that.
What the fuck? That's Ingtar? Well, all right, well, okay. Before I say my most controversial take.
Yes, correct.
We got, this just in, Brother Dan. Coming to you live.
Oh yeah!
From Podcast of the Dragon, we have the inimitable, the unnatural, the kind, the empathetic Morgan. She was texting. She was texting.
Unnatural.
I thought I heard that. I was like,
wait, I'm unnatural.
Way to go! Good job, Ryan.
Yeah,
I
look
think
what
you are
Unbeatable,
supernatural.
unstoppable.
supernatural.
Guys,
Inimitable-
this is
Hey,
the
good
best.
save. Good save.
Guys, this
Thank
is,
you.
this is the best Boxing Day ever. I love this.
I love Boxing Day. Boxing Day is my favorite holiday.
Isn't it not Boxing Day anymore in England?
It's not.
Yeah, it's officially
I'm-
no
I'm-
longer.
Yeah.
It is
I'm on-
here.
Canada celebrates it too.
Oh, well, okay then.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good.
It's sweeping the globe.
So are we talking about episode 7 as well as episode 8?
Of course.
No.
We're talking about
Oh.
everything, and where we're at, where we are talking about our kind of biggest gripes of the whole season, kind of
Yeah.
like
Right.
summary
Oh,
says, like
Are we going to
I-
complain first and then we're going
We
to
have
say
been-
nice
yeah,
things?
we're
We have
tearing it
been
down and
complaining
then
a
build
little
it
bit.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we should try to say nice things if we can.
Yeah.
We want to have some
We
nice
will.
thoughts in
Yeah.
there.
I have a lot of.
I
Nice
know.
things to
I
say.
hate to say that because I love a bit
So
of.
here's how I start every episode. Everything I'm gonna say is, I love the fact that there's a show that doesn't look awful. I love it. I'm fucking look. It's a 10 out of 10 to start. Technically, the show,
Uh-huh.
and then there's a whole bunch of shit that sucks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a great juxtaposition. Like 10 out of 10, you did it. You didn't make it look like
Like,
Legend Seeker.
Well, I guess here's the question: if we weren't Wheel of Time fans, would we like this show?
I don't.
I don't
know.
Probably,
fucking know.
I would fucking love this
My
show.
father-in-law
Oh, yeah.
loves it. Like
I
my
would-
father-in-law
I would fuck with
thinks
it
it's
so
good
hard.
shit. Like, he's watched 5 episodes.
I mean,
And
like,
I don't.
Okay.
I would love
I
it. Man.
don't watch television at all, so I wouldn't watch the show because I don't watch TV.
Yeah, we
Um,
brought I just finished saying I don't watch TV, so I don't know how to compare this to anything.
Yeah, so there are all kinds of shows, and particularly I don't watch fantasy shows, I don't watch superhero shows, I don't watch
Mhm.
anything like that. So, like, I cannot compare. I have seen some of Game of Thrones because my wife watched it, but you know, so when we first got together, like it wasn't over yet, so I watched it the first 3 seasons, but I was really turned off by like the, you know, just the constant like human cruelty. I just am not into that kind of stuff. I prefer the Wheel of Time where, you know, there's human cruelty, but most of it, like the cruelty is so evil, it is, you know, turned into monsters. But
Right.
yeah, I cannot say. I had a lot of disquiet about episode 8. In fact, I was lucky that my front-facing camera shit out on me like 7 minutes into the episode. So like most of my bitching like died out because I watched it a second time and liked it a lot better, particularly after like reading some articles where some of my concerns were explained, concerns that someone who had not read the book series would not have had, and then watching some reader react or non-reader reacts.
That always helps.
Our non-readers really liked it.
Yeah.
They
a lot
said it
of
was the best
non-readers really
episode.
like it.
Yeah.
They are, yeah, some people were like, it's the best episode ever. And it's like, that's mostly my concern because changes and things where I'm like, what the ever loving fuck did you do? Why would you have done that? When non-readers watch it and they're like, you know, oh my God, this was amazing. I'm like, okay, because they're writing the show and they're writing changes with the point of making a narrative that non-readers can want to follow and that will engage them. And, you know, with lots of bones to throw to the rest of us, with the hopes that those of us who are willing to, you know, forgive those things or play along will enjoy the show. But, you know, there are people who just cannot forgive things. Like my ex was like a comic book, you know, fiend, and like any deviation from comic books, you know, he would just like, oh no, it was completely no good. And I'm just sort of like, you know, how can you do that? Like, because it's just like that level of impatience or unwillingness to, you know, accept certain narrative changes is just kind of like, you know, it's like you don't have to like the show, but at the same time, I'm like looking at it from a writing perspective to see what is effective for storytelling for people who are not familiar with the original material. And so watching people who were not book readers be like, oh my God, this was amazing. And their main complaint seemed to be like, why the fuck do I have to wait for season 2? I'm left on cliffhangers. What's going on? I want to know more. And that's ultimately the goal that you want in a show. So that seems like mission accomplished.
Yeah.
Okay. I hear what you're saying. All right, I think that this season that we have seen has been so different from the books that we as readers are forced to say, okay, this is a separate entity, because if we are going to continue to compare things, we are going to get exhausted by the number of changes that you decided to make, Rafe, that didn't necessarily need to be changed. And so I'm open to change. I certainly am. But with that said, what the fuck was the eye? What was that Quandar? Where was what happened there? Was that a seal? Was the eye a seal?
Yeah, I think it was.
I was disappointed at the end of the because partly I was like, okay, they had an opportunity to make the ending really sensical, since the end of the book made no fucking sense. So it was open to interpretation, so I felt like they should have made it more clear that, Ishamael was a Forsaken. Yeah, I think Danjamin is right that it was one of the seals and that it broke. Somehow Rand managed to break it, which I think was the point. One of the reacts that I watched today, someone noticed that Ishii was smiling when Rand broke it and kind of disappeared. So I'm wondering if Rand technically broke open the seal enough for Forsaken to escape. And that was kind of the whole point of it. And that will be, like he looks happy there. But I didn't notice that. And so, it's kind of like, if that's the case, hopefully that will be illuminated later on. And then it's kind of like, what limitations are you given? Because you only have 8 episodes and only an hour per episode.
Right. That's one of my biggest complaints is this really could have been a 10 or 12 episode season. And because this was rush, and then stepping. And then rush. And then it really could have had 2 or 3 more, 4 more episodes to get to this point.
Steppen wasted so much time. All right. So, and also notice he didn't defend himself in any way.
No, I think that the point right there was that Rand was going to break the seal because that's how the Forsaken are getting out. Is that they needed Rand to do it, which is why Ishamael planted the dream in the Amerlin's dream to get Rand to the eye, because they needed the dragon to open the eye and break the seal. And they may be doing the thing where instead of 7 seals as focus, it's just like there was a seal on the Dark One's prison and it needed to be opened to free the Forsaken.
Morgan, am I understanding? And obviously, I'm again, I don't know if you know me very well, but I'm drunk.
I watched the beginning part and heard about the special coffee.
Yeah, thank you. This is very good coffee. We started that at 9 a.m.
The Irish.
Oh, God.
I understand it. Like, your theory is almost like that Ishamael is a red herring, to use the language from
Law.
Yeah, that's good enough. Like, so in that, like, defeating Ishamael almost creates the opening.
That's what I think they're doing. So, like, I did an episode called The Breast of the World because I was trying to figure out what actually happened.
The same thing, but different.
Okay, so I was trying to figure out what actually happens at the end of the book, because I'm like, what is the purpose of this pure pool of Sidene? Why is it there? And I'm like, okay, so it makes it sound like, as opposed to being this like really difficult, dangerous thing of channeling, it's kind of just this sippy cup full of pure Sidene that's easy to channel. So it's like less dangerous, but it's like, why, is Ishamael luring them to the eye? Because that's what he's doing. That's with all of the dreams. And then he takes credit for the story of Jane Farstrider and the Ideal Women who get away. And it's sort of like, so I'm assuming he must have had a ton of stories get out there with the idea it couldn't have just been those 2, that eventually some of those stories would, find Tiburon. And so the whole goal being, you see in the flashback in books in book 4 when Rand goes through the glass columns that there's the meeting with the Aes Sedai, and they're having a meeting where the foretelling, and you see Kalendor and the dragon banner on a table. So presumably they put Kalendor in the Stone of Tyr and they seal it in, and the warding is attuned to the dragon. So the dragon banner, I'm assuming there was a warding attuned to the dragon around the Eye of the World, so Rand had to go there to unlock it. Yeah,
that makes sense.
So that was my assumption, and it's like you don't have because of the unreliable narrator, and because Rand has no fucking idea what's going on. At the end of the book, we don't know what's going on. We're behind the eyes of an oblivious dumbass, and so it's just sort of like. And he's high as balls on this new power, so it's just like, this just stoned and oblivious and kind of stupid kid. And so you're having to navigate what's going on, and then you have the problem of he never reflects back and is like, oh, that's what happened, and so RJ expects you to kind of do the mental lifting, and then you have the problem of the metaphysics weren't totally worked out, and when you're publishing in a series, you don't get to go back and fix things, which is why I don't have as much of a problem with retconning as a lot of people do, because it's like, what the fuck are you supposed to do when your book is already published?
Yeah,
so,
you're kind of in your own. You fucked up already, too late by being popular.
Well, yes. This is a good point. I think the thing with the kind of going off of this retconning thing for the show is like, I think a lot of the things that we think are issues. I mean, this I actually, I do think is an issue, but I'm going to continue with my point anyways.
Don't get distracted. Stay focused. I won't get Carolina.
Distracted. This was a thought I was saying earlier, and I totally don't know what happened. I think I probably lost all sense of myself. But is that the show is going to change things drastically because they only have 8 seasons, and this goes into kind of the whole. Why didn't they adapt it like Game of Thrones did? Which again, Game of Thrones is annoying to compare to all the time. But maybe even Harry Potter, which is quite close to its books.
Well, from it, yeah.
And Lord of the Rings is quite close, though I'd say it's not as close as people, make it seem. It's just a very good adaptation.
The Last Temptation of Christ.
Yeah, the Passion of the Christ. So, but those ones had 1-to-1. Media. So, Harry Potter actually had 1 to, 0.1 because it had part 1, part 2 of the last book, and it definitely didn't even need that. But we don't. We only have 8 seasons and 14 books. And yes, they've talked about cutting out books that we're all like, yeah, it's great to cut it out. And even like this ending where it's like, oh, it'd be, great for them to clear this up. But when they do that, they actually have to change things quite intensely for it to match up with the next season, and especially for audience viewers, because I think that what has been most disappointing for me in some ways is how simplified everything is. But at the same time, I'm like, that's almost obvious. Like, obviously, they have to simplify this lore, because the lore, we have deep dives on Dusty Wheel for 4 hours about certain elements of Tel'aran'rhiod, and like that cannot happen in the fucking show.
That's not related to the show necessarily. I love Matt Hatch, but that has nothing to do with the show.
Well, I mean, like it indicates how complicated it is, so the show has to make it simple. And I don't necessarily agree that it has to be as simple as it is, but I think when they've probably mapped out 8 seasons if they're smart, and I'm sure that they have, because
we've read that. You're right. That's 8 is their expectation.
So but I think a lot of times there's some things I'm just trying to start to now trust, because they are so different that I'm like, if it is this different, they have to know that this is going to have huge repercussions. Meaning, if they've mapped out 8 seasons, then they know that. And I need to just kind of let go of my heart.
Morgan, can I ask you a question? Do you really map out 8 seasons?
I am not
this.
I am not a writer for television, and one of the reasons why I'm kind of just letting, Jesus Rave take the wheel is because I was on the Dusty Wheel to adapt the second book, as season 2, and I was fucking terrible. I was terrible at it. I know how to write a novel, sort of. I don't know how to write something like this.
Morgan, can I tell you something? If you're this bad at it, thank you. Because guess what? I hate what they do. If you thought that you were not doing the right job as far as pacing wise, that means you really were. Because look at what some of these things were, Morgan. Like, again, I love this show. I love that it exists. I would trust, Jesus if I'm Jesus, I'm putting myself in your hands, Morgan.
Yeah, well, I
And I hope
think
you.
honestly,
Yeah.
I think most of the narrative changes are brilliant. I think the narrative changes to the characters were really, really smart. I think that
All
they
the
did a
characters are
lot of
great.
explaining. And also, I just sort of feel like if you have the job, it's given to you to, make this show, you have to accept the fact that you're going to make a lot of people unhappy because
Absolutely.
and you've got to accept that from the beginning that there's going to be a whole group of people that just aren't going to be happy with what you do. So
it's
you
like
have
Quick
to, you have to do your best to make something that is an effective narrative, and that has to be the goal. And also, it sounds like, he's getting 10,000 notes from the executives. So it's like you're also working to not only make something where you have to accept the fact you're not going to make everybody happy, but you're also fighting against morons who don't understand the book series and want to make changes for change's sake because they think they understand television better, and so I feel like that's one of the problems too, is that a lot of the stuff that's maybe not so smart is because idiots higher up were like, oh, we should do this, and it's just kind of like, no, you really shouldn't, and Rave couldn't fight against all of their stupid. So it's just sort of like there's sprinklings of dumbassery that aren't necessarily the show writer's fault. It's just like you can't sieve all of the dumbassery that the higher ups, trickled into the water of the show. It's just
Morgan. I am so glad. Hold on. I'm so glad that you brought this up. There were close to 11,000 notes for the first episode alone.
I feel like that's like the taint on Saidine is like Amazon's opinion or the executives' opinions of what it should be.
Drop mic.
Yeah, I feel like that's the taint is the opinions of what they think it should be with no real understanding, and then the actual show is the pure water, underneath. And it has its traps and everything. It's not perfect, but I feel like a lot of what we're unhappy about, or a lot of what's ineffective, is partly because things got cut that shouldn't have been cut. There weren't enough episodes.
Hollywood? Like that's where you dump it into?
Maybe. I don't know. But so it's like I have to take that into account when I'm unhappy or when things are stupid. I'm like, why would you put this in here? And I'm like, I bet, a lot of that was because somebody was like, oh, you need to have that in there. And it's like, no, we really can't. But you can only fight against so much when your higher ups or your bosses are insisting, no, you need to put this really stupid thing in there, and they know better, and you have to do what they say.
The higher ups. The circle that it goes through. Got it.
It's like this. It's like this. The higher.
Like a turning motion with that one, Morgan.
Morgan, we're not far off from how to cleanse the taint of Hollywood in general. We could make a fuck ton of money, which, by the way, is also the taint of Hollywood,
and it's
which
like
is very reciprocal here.
So you can.
I like this comment.
Show, and then it looks something like Winter Dragon, and it's really close to the source material, where you can, have more money and make an adaptation, and then have to accept the fact that you're gonna get people weighing in who are gonna pollute it. It's gonna get polluted because the people with the money and the people with the power are going to pollute your final product because they can and they think they know best.
Did you even notice the fact that Billy Zane was actually in the most recent episode?
Is he?
Yeah. You know who he played? Every character.
Oh, okay.
God damn.
Okay, personally, I think Billy Zane was really good as a Shamael. I liked him. I'm
not
gonna lie, I liked him.
I give it a 10 out of 10 Billy Zane.
Carolina, you said you like to comment. Which one is it?
This Alexander Erickson one of I hope they add the humor back. Part of me thinks that they cut that out because Matt was cut from the last 2 episodes. Kind of 3. No, 2.
At least 2, yeah.
Like he does have there are a few lines, but I really wish I think they should really pepper in some more humor. You get some side things from Nynaeve, but
it's so intense. Like episode 5, it bookends with fucking funerals. Episode 6 starts off with a little girl crying and leaving her dad after her fucking home gets burned down. And I remember thinking, Jesus Christ, like, what are they gonna let off the gas a little bit with this or not?
Well,
You want to hear
Just
something
like
funny?
one joke,
It's just at the
honestly.
end of episode 8. That's hilarious.
oh yeah, I know, right? So what I feel like is partly that the executives are like, you can't laugh at all of this horrible stuff, and it's just sort of like, no, that's the point.
what you
That's what
do.
makes it so funny, is the fact that it's also horrible, and you have to laugh between it. That's how soldiers cope. That's how people,
That's how
like the
everybody
people
copes.
who manage to cope the best are generally the people who have humor. So personally, okay, the thing that made me the most upset about the last episode was the cold open. I wanted dead babies, and we didn't get any. I was like, wait a minute, why did it end where I wanted Dragon Mount? I wanted, sadness and tragedy and insanity, and instead we just got before he went and did it. It was just like this, no, you can't do it. Yeah, okay, Dad's gonna fix the world, and then that ended it, and I'm like, wait, what? There are no dead babies. There are no murdered children. There's no. Where's the sadness? Where's the tragedy?
Well,
And I was disappointed. So,
well, check this out. I don't know if you noticed this, Morgan, but we were able to suss this out. We have the brass knuckles here, and
I
then
saw that. And
Which
then
has
Nishame
been
has them.
dumbed the cock
Yep.
ring.
he's
My
got a-
wife was so upset by this costume. It looks like some
It
dude
looks-
who just like fell out drunk after a fucking wedding.
I thought he looked like a waiter.
Sam,
That coat
That's
has
bringing you a
very
nice hello.
short arms.
like, yeah, look, it's so baggy right here.
It looks like
Wow.
he should be telling you what the wine list is tonight.
Can you zoom back in on that hand? Can you zoom back in on
He's
that
gonna
hand?
cut the cheese
He's
with that
got
sword.
a blousy fucking pants there.
Yeah,
Like,
he's
it
got the
looks like
ring.
he's about to give a weird version of the shocker. And weird,
Okay,
like,
I'm with you.
So
and with a cock ring on it. Yeah.
I'm gonna assume that they're gonna show us more of that. They're gonna give us Dragon Mount. They're gonna give us the rest of that cold open, and they were just giving us a little
Well, I
bit.
hope it's not a cold open. That's kind of fucked up, man.
Yeah,
Like, this guy should be, given his years of experience. He's hundreds of years old. Yeah, that's better.
yeah. So I was like, I'm assuming we'll get the insane Loose Theron and the dead babies at some point, which is
That's a great
Yeah.
band, by the way.
Dead babies.
Yep.
and yeah, that makes me sound horrible, but I'm like, that's serious tragedy. That would have been
No.
a tragedy. I love the cold opens because I love watching the non-reader reacts, and that would have just been like horrifying, and everybody would have been just like, but letting them see the Age of Legends and how amazing it is, that is one thing where they were like, oh my god, this really is the future in the past. So that is cool.
I liked it. I just
yeah.
didn't appreciate really like this.
Yeah, I
Just
mean, these paper airplanes in the sky.
doesn't hit it
Our
for-
non-readers call them paper airplanes.
Yeah, it just doesn't hit it for me. Like this is where you spent your 10 million an episode. It looks
I
like
do love Juno.
it looks like you
No
know,
one's,
hands
no
on-
one's- and no one's
It's a
talking
good
about the
dam.
Mako wall right here.
It's a dam.
like what the fuck
Yeah, it's a
is
dam.
this?
They're
Like,
using it
it's-
for energy power.
And I'm guessing hydropower.
Yeah.
No cold.
No,
ones.
I mean, not everyone is watching this scene by scene. We're seeing
was.
flying cars, which is cool.
You know, it
We're
matches
seeing-
exactly the ruins. If
Wait,
you've
is
seen
this
that.
the splash from the
Yeah.
waterfall?
You know the ruins from the episode 1.
Yeah,
the
I was
transition.
wondering about
Great
that.
point.
If
Or
you put them
episode
on
2,
top of each
yeah.
other, they are the exact same. Just one is ruined with moss over it.
Oh.
Yeah,
Which
it like
is-
literally
yeah.
frame actually works frame like if you put it right on.
So
top.
is this
Oh, that's
Meth
fucking
Aaron?
cool.
Bunch of stacked
I
penises.
think it's cool.
I mean,
To be fair, that is what New York
My-
City
my
is,
whole
though.
pitch, too.
A bunch of stacked penises.
Manetherin wasn't made until 1,000 years after the break-in. and
Oh,
it
they
was a
have
city
two
that
little
was.
baby penises right here. They're no.
Little nubbies.
Those are some small dicks too.
Little nub.
God. So yeah, I'm super underwhelmed by this. At first, again, like I was like, "Wow, we're seeing it! There it is!" And then 5 seconds later, I was like, "Oh, why did I get so excited about it?"
Well,
Part
Like,
of
if the camera
sound-
swooped down and we got to see shit, we actually got to see like men and women working together. If we actually, but this is just like this is like a screensaver.
Honestly, one of my biggest complaints about the cold open was that she called Lutheran the Dragon Reborn. I'm like, he's
Uh-huh.
not the Dragon Reborn, he's the Dragon. And
Also,
they-
she's the Tamerlan. I don't care about the gender or anything like that. but that was his title.
Yeah,
It
he was,
doesn't-
and it wasn't a seat. It was the Ring of Tamerlane, and he sat in the high seat. And it's like,
Coming the 9 rods of Dominion.
yeah,
Fuck this.
I get.
I know, but they had this cool earring set.
There.
Yeah, but
That
yeah,
is
it's
really impractical. You can take out 2 ears with one tug.
What? So, like, honestly, I'm yelling into a fucking like cave here, and I apologize. But like, what bothers me is change without any fucking reason, right? Watch your language.
Right.
But like, so changing the
show?
title, changing the 9 rods, like lack of that. I don't care if you want to make like I think that Luce Theron, he looks cool as shit, and having a fucking newborn, honestly, adds so much.
Oh, there's so
fucking
much sadness.
Yeah,
It's
there's
so
no
much.
irony for us.
Gone, Betty, gone. Your love is gone.
All right, sweetheart, Daddy's here.
They see that
It's a
shit,
great
Gone
tattoo
Girl?
for him when he kills his.
But
fucking
you won't
family.
be for much longer. So yeah, it's just-
So
Talk about
these,
Gone Girl.
what I've seen in these episodes, and Carolina, you might be able to, and all of y'all, is that there has been a theme that has been established in the beginning, and there has been a mirror of it somewhere in the episode later. And with this, we have the baby. Yeah, no, I got 2 arms, bro. Wah! So we got the baby over here, and then later we meet Joya. Who? All right. So are we assuming now that Egwin's accepted test is not going to involve this scene? And this was more or less the same scene.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
What
That
makes
was
you
huge.
think he's gonna have a fucking a test?
I don't
Yep.
feel like the acceptance test is really
Like, gonna be a thing
necessary.
anymore, yeah.
It
Yeah,
seems
'cause-
like
Yeah.
It's so cinematic.
It's a
though.
double as well, though. It's like a double between that and then the actual Aes Sedai test, which is even cooler and way more intense.
yeah, I don't know.
I don't
it
know.
just seems
We'll see.
like there's only so much time they have to show, and there are a lot more interesting things to show. So it's kind of like,
Maybe if they do it, they might show somebody else's accepted test. Like maybe they'll do
show
a
Nynaeve's.
Lane's or Nynaeve's. Yeah.
You guys want to have fun? Watch this. And we'll start with like
That always adds poorly when Jono says that at a bar.
it's not even a sex joke.
You want to have
Literally,
fun?
Tell me 5 things that to you, starting at the top left for my screen, are the things that makes the Wheel of Time. Like make book 1 or make book 1 or 2. I don't care. Ryan, go with, what are the 5 scenes of book 1?
Oh,
You
run.
have to-
Escape.
Five.
I'll tell you, like the
Yeah.
things that I loved the most, like escaping Emmons Field and Rand channeling into Bella, with the Drakkar chasing him.
Yeah.
Winter's Night, Rand bringing Tam back to Emmons Field.
Yeah.
The Green Man.
Oh,
Even though when I first read it, I thought it was silly. The second time around, I liked it better.
Yeah.
I like that whole the pacing of going from the blight into that kind of psychedelic Green Man forest place where everyone's like walking
Yeah.
around with flowers in
Yeah,
there.
go on.
I thought it was great.
Yeah.
The quintessential. And Moraine blowing up a field of with the Trolloc attack, right where they were like racing away, and she was able to pull out a San Angreal and the wall of fire she made.
Yeah, right before they go into Shadar Logoth.
And I'd say my last one would be when Moraine makes herself like a giant and walks over
yeah.
the city walls.
Yeah, and they're
Yeah, which why the fuck was
fucking
that,
love that
trick
shit,
not
yeah.
brought out ever again? I
Yeah.
could have done some cool shit later on. But,
Brother
and
Dan,
the dream with the wine, like that seemed like one of the most important things in the books. And
yeah,
it's
okay.
still
Brother Dan.
Thanks,
Dan,
Jono.
moving right
Hey,
along.
John is taking over the show.
I'm taking notes here. The whole point here is I'm
This
taking
is
notes.
me. This is me. Yeah, keep going.
All right, I
Brother
would
Dan.
say when Ferris convinced Cameron to hang out.
Harrison
would
Cameron. I love that.
say
He's fucking
when-
she's hot, right?
When they go with the girlfriend to Chicago. I would say when they had the museum is pivotal. Cameron sees his existential self in
Even
Monet.
when they draw the card backwards too, like, that's fun. Like I like that.
Right,
Trying
right.
to get the speedometer to go backwards.
And then
yeah.
also that museum part also includes the parade
How you
part.
doing, Morgan?
Where he's like,
Anyway,
Pretty good.
Just wanted to
the
check in with you.
fourth part is when
the-
they destroy the garage, and
oh,
the
that's
fifth
fucked
part.
up. Yeah, good point. That's a good point. Anyway, Carolina, what else you got? Because fuck Brother Dan.
I was wondering if I had to
Well
go
done.
on the same line, and
Well
I was
done.
like, "This isn't going to go well."
No, seriously. Like, like, the whole point here is this. Like, and it's a maybe a overly shitty parallel, or not simply parallel, but question is, what to you makes book one, and to a lesser extent, book two? Like, so let's say Ryan is at all a good person to ask, which probably not.
Probably not.
Winter Night, which is kind of there, but not similarly. The Green Man, so far, no. Moraine blowing up Shar Logoth, no. Moraine and Bearlawn, no. And then Dream Come Wine. I don't know what that was. I wasn't really paying that much
Dream
attention.
Come Wine?
Yeah, Dream Come Wine. Like, the thing is, like, the things that make the series, like, to me, like, and again, that's what I wanted to know. Like, what makes book one for you?
Okay, I hear what you're saying.
Okay,
I
yeah,
hear
so-
I
what
see
you're
what you're saying. I would,
me,
I would
yeah,
only,
okay.
I would rebuttal it only to the
Yeah.
sense that I don't think it is book one that they're
Yeah.
trying to give you. What
Totally
they're trying to
fine.
give you is the entire book series in a tone.
Oh.
I don't necessarily think
absolutely.
they figured it out yet because the tone's quite inconsistent. But like this first season has things in it that really harken my feeling back to Gathering Storm and
Yeah.
feelings of the Aes Sedai and also kind of the dynamics of politics. And then there's other things. It kind of feels more to me like the middle of the series than it does feel like the first book, which can be really frustrating at times. And I think in some ways,
But there's a positive there. As long as there's a fucking
Yeah.
foundation, that's cool.
Right,
There's
and Jono,
all the endearing qualities. I think what you're getting at is like all the like endearing qualities are not there. The compelling
saying all.
qualities.
no,
It's compelling. It's adrenaline rush. It's a lot of there's a lot of mystery.
we're not
and
getting Hobbiton. That's what
intensity,
it
but
feels
we're not
like. We're not
getting,
getting
like, the-
Hobbiton. We're already with the elves. That's what it feels like to me.
Yeah. So Morgan, what about you?
Oh, okay. So, the Trollocs attacking Rand's farm on Winter Night, the
Yeah.
bath scene in Barlon. I fucking love that scene. Shows a very simple world building, so I think it's a great scene for that. But the Trollocs on the Camelin Road, Perrin and Egwene running from the Ravens, and Rand falling into the palace in Camelin.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah,
Morgan,
that last
actually,
one- that one was
for
one
Morgan, honestly, you're batting the highest, right?
Mhm.
To a certain extent, like, you're hitting tangents of each of those until the last one. There's definitely no palace falling, but there's parts of, let's take your bathing scene into, instead of Barrelon, Two Rivers, which probably shitty bath, although great ass.
That was a cool bath that had potpourri in it.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
find things in
That's
weird
great ass.
places, but you smell good.
Oh, I thought that was all the leaves that just came
Oh.
off of them from traveling.
No. That was
That's just
oh my
Sanders
God,
under
no.
That was like fancy potpourri, like dried flowers in the water.
Yeah, no, that
very
was like
bad
lavender
smelling
shit, man.
potpourri,
It's like
according to Ryan.
And also, and Daniel, Laniel was so clean getting into the bath. That was
Oh,
the
yeah.
cleanest, wonderful ass you've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's actually his album.
Uh-huh.
It's
Clean
wonderful
ass.
ass you've ever seen. It's a Christmas album.
He walked in saying, "I do this because I want to, not because I need to."
Yeah. But I mean, no one cares about my opinion, but I jive incredibly with you. Like, but I think that's the thing is, like, most of these, we hit probably about 50-50 of the real fucking things that you think of when you think book one. Even assuming that no one wants to see, that fucking 150-mile fucking run between what's it called? White Bridge and Camelin. Let's pretend no one wants to see that, which is true.
Mhm.
It's actually not. It's the best part. Well, one of the best. But, like, so even dodging that, like, there's still so many cool fucking things that we don't see here.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's the frustration, right?
Oh,
If you see-
Tom and Maureen's first meeting in Emmonsfield. I should have put that on my list. That was great.
Yeah, they haven't even met. She's stilled now. All right,
She's not. She's not.
I think it's going to be the
Tied
same
off,
thing that
Why?
Leandrin has.
No, no. I read an article about it afterwards because I spent a lot of time being like, "What the ever loving fuck?" You go back and look. You show him tying, putting a shield on her the same way that they put a shield on Logain. It does not look like it does.
Leandrin. Like,
Yeah,
think about what happened to Leandrin.
It does not look like what happened in where they're gentling Logain. And secondly, I read an article where Rafe was basically saying in book 2, Moiraine is hardly in it. All you have is the beginning and then a scene where she's with Van Dien and
Adolin, yeah,
until the end. And so it was sort of like they needed to have more of a reason for her to be doing what she's doing, or give her a narrative basically, and it's not a terrible one. It's not one I would have chosen, but I was just kind of like, because at first I was like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. And then I realized, no, if that had happened, her bond with Lon would have been severed instead of.
And he says, must be hard to be have to sense a source but not be able to touch it. Right,
and
it's just right out of your dress.
Technically, you can sense it but not touch it when you've been stilled as opposed to burned out. Yeah,
right.
But at the same time, it's just sort of like, it sounds like he basically did to her what happened to Leandrin, and so presumably she's going to find a way out of it, and they're just going to give her some kind of narrative, because you've got to give Rosamund Pike a job. You can't have her and not have her in season 2.
And I think that. Go on.
It's like if you're, I don't know, all that shit just kind of bothers me. Just to be honest, like when I'm judging art. If I read an article by an author and he's like, I made this one choice because the budget and this and that. It's like, no. I want to know your artistic reasons for making it, not just because like, you can't. It's Rosamund Pike, man. She's great. Like, you got to do something with her.
Let me. Okay, go ahead.
But realistically, I mean, however you want to know artistic choices, it's sort of like if you want to do that, you have to follow independent artists. This is not an independent artist. This is a big budget thing made with a whole bunch of people. You're not talking about 1 or 2 filmmakers making something. You're talking about a huge group of people having to work cooperatively.
Morgan, I agree. I Ryan, brother Dan, and I also sound like a dick now that I just cut you off, and I apologize. Go on. I cut you off.
No, I was just like, because I get it, but at the same time, it's just kind of like, and I would not have picked the narrative of, Moiraine having to find, a way to get her shield untied. But that's the one that they picked. I haven't thought yet about how I would, I mean, that could be true, Ben. I don't know if I agree, but, it's just kind of like, I think that the Amyrlin seat in full regala will be Elida being her downfall. But it's just...
She did say the Amyrlin seat. She did not
specify Swan.
Yeah.
Well, she wouldn't know her name.
Sorry. The details of her life are quite
She wouldn't know her name. She's not wearing a nameplate.
But it is somewhere in the future. All right, if I can, let me just step on a soapbox for just seconds.
Go on, yes.
All right.
My name's on the billboard.
4 score.
All right, so what my experience with fantasy recreations are Game of Thrones, the Lord of the Rings, things that have stayed for the most part pretty true to this story, and I've seen that those have been successful as a result. Where Game of Thrones gets kind of fucked up is when they got past season 5, where George R.R. Martin had not written out the story ahead of time, and that's where things got off the rails. And I forgive them for that. They were at that point creating fan fiction, and it either works or it doesn't work. Mm-hmm. With this series, I feel like this season 1 is fan fiction.
Yep.
I mean, that's inevitable. If the author isn't writing it, it's going to be fan fiction. That's just what it is.
Well, I mean, again, I mean, it's a choice to be.
Tolkien didn't write. Go on, Ryan.
One at a time. One at a time.
These are just a choice. Again, like I love Morgan's perspective. These are just the choices that are being made. Like, it is a choice. It's not an inevitability that they couldn't make a faithful adaptation. That's not an inevitability. That's a choice they made. We can choose to like it or not. Sounds like Dan doesn't like a lot of the choices.
Well, so taking away the Green Man is one thing. Having the Eye of the World be like a subway stop in the ways?
Damn. Okay.
Having it be a fucking that's where the prison is. That fucking
No, I don't think it is.
I mean,
subway stop.
Go on. It's not my turn. Go on, brother Dan.
No, go on, Ryan.
No, I mean, like, so they make these choices. The things that I like to focus on are not whether or not the choices are different, like the differences from the novels. For me, it's do they hold up consistently within their own creation, right? Like, and some of these feel like the things that bother me are like very obvious things, like where are the fucking Trollocs coming from? They just crawling through the blight. How did Lan not like encounter the Trollocs getting past them to the blight? That's a very narrow fucking gap that Lan had to get through an entire Trolloc army to get to what? Just to kind of console Moraine. Having the best warrior in the world just go off on a run through a forest mission to like these are just choices that I think I'm fine with criticizing. I try not to focus on this being different. They've never claimed it's going to be the same. And to that credit, they're not duping us. They've not duped us one bit. They've tried to actively warn us. Hey guys, it's coming. It's coming. Changes are coming. So I'm fine specifically that they are changing things. I don't necessarily like all the changes, but that's neither here nor there. It's happening. I'm going to try and look at it as a standalone piece of art, and I think there's some fucking dumb shit that goes on, and and I was a little disappointed. So, but again, I don't know a lot of television is how does this stand up to other shows? Like I saw The Boys. I don't remember seeing scenes where I'm like, fuck, what really? It seemed like The Boys, cool, man. It's just like super consistent. Yeah. I don't know. Do they have a bigger budget? Like, what is Carolina? Who's to blame when we see these characteristics? Where we see these like inconsistencies.
To that point, though, maybe the comic book, The Boys, if there is one, people are like, "Oh, that's bullshit. That guy doesn't do that. Oh, where's this character?" It might be the same thing.
Well, I think it goes back. It goes back to kind of you were saying. Brother Dan, you were on your soapbox saying, these others have done it well, and this one's not doing. This isn't. I think the thing is about this is that it can't really be compared to anything that we've seen so far, because kind of like how Wheel of Time is one of the biggest book series ever. It is also, there's a reason it hasn't been adapted yet. It is one of the most read book series ever. It should have been adapted at the same time of Lord of the Rings and it's Harry Potter. It was in the same realm. And you had other book series that weren't as popular getting adapted. So I think the thing is now is to realize that you, like people have said it in the comments as well, but you just genuinely cannot do an adaptation of 14 books unless you had 14 seasons. And even with 14 seasons, you would need to have at least, I think, 12 episodes because each of those books is 700 pages. So that's the first thing I'll say, because I agree with you. I think the one thing I will say about criticism, and you're totally entitled to just be like, this isn't what I wanted to see. And I think there's two sides. There's people that are like hate to hear criticism because they're loving it and like to see it as a new turning and are really enjoying it and get really mad at people for having their opinion. And then there's the side of people being like, this is the worst and what the fuck?
They're fucking melodramatic, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like we can be in the middle. We can be like, you know what? This isn't as cool as it was in the books. Because honestly, anything that was made in your brain is going to be better than anything you see, usually, almost always, than you'll see in real life, because your brain can do some shit.
I have body dysmorphia, but I think I'm super cut.
It's just like you're always going to see it bigger. It's always going to be grander, and only occasionally will your skin actually get goosebumps and in a theater, and if you're really lucky. So that's my thing about it. But I will say I think that's why I think the show isn't as good as book readers want it to be, because it simply cannot be what was in your head, and it is fan fiction. And each of us, if we made it ourselves, would have focused on different aspects. Like I would have leaned as hard as they are, if not harder, into how gay it is, and I'm loving that about the show. But then there's other elements where I would have made it a little funnier. I probably would have gone a little bit different color grade. I would have focused more on the sound. I would have focused more on kind of the Emmons Fielders, as I said. But I do like it. I just, every time I watch it, like Morgan, you said, like watching it again, I haven't watched this episode again, and I probably should have, because every time I watch it a second time, I'm always like, okay, my heart comes back into my body, and I'm like, I can watch this and be objective.
The other thing that I've noticed is that what I try to do, and I have to admit, because I'm not someone who can write for screen, I'm not good at being succinct, is trying to think, how would I have written it? And in trying to think, how would I have written it, I'm always go back to not very well, and so it's sort of like trying to think, how would I have managed to adapt it, and think, well, I would have tried to be, make this scene and this scene and this thing, this scene, and it would have been, too much focusing on individual scenes that would have not told an effective narrative. And so it's sort of like when they combine a whole bunch of stuff that happened in several scenes, and they have to write a whole new scene, but they take everything that happened, like with the Breen Spring scene, and they make a whole new scene where they, everything that happens is different, but the flavor of everything is the same. Plus, they, managed to introduce Tom in a way where he would have been too much to introduce in the beginning. They already had enough characters. And then they also do a whole bunch of world building. They did a ton of stuff in that new scene that they wrote, which I thought was just really good. I thought it was really well done. So I've been impressed with how they did it. And yeah, some of the choices that they've made, I've not thought were really good. And I have thought with some of the choices that they've made that I would have done it differently. But in the end, it's sort of like when I sit down and I try to think, where would I go from here? My brain doesn't write a very good screenplay, because I just, and at that point, I kind of shut up in my head about too much criticism, because it's just sort of like, if I can't think about how I would have written it better, I'm kind of like,
you know what? I would have written it better, because I would have had Stefan die, like right when he did the double axe, but like somehow Nynaeve didn't heal him. He was like too far away for
Way to go, bitch.
and they'd be like, sorry, I got them all except Stefan.
She's like, you fucked that up, Stefan. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
Well, I mean,
they focused too much on him on that episode. I think they did some great world building with the Aes Sedai and the Warders with that, but it was sort of like, it was too heavy on that, and they should have done more development with Matt and Rand. And, it's just like, I'm not sure why they chose to do that, but it's just like...
Brother Dan just won a fucking award for his acting. Sorry.
But I'm also wondering, like, how much of that scene got cut? How much...
Yeah.
Carolina, why do they always have to end around an hour? Like, why are they keeping these episodes an hour when they they're not on a schedule where they have to compete?
It's just,
why not make a combination, right? Like, this is what is for public consumption, 52 minutes. This is what's for every other.
This is production head. This is production head. Production was probably given an hour and 20-minute episode and was like, get this down 20 minutes or nobody will watch it.
But
like,
why not
how it happens?
Have you seen the X-ray? The X-ray is the dumbest. Like, I'm sorry, it's not my turn yet.
Are we taking turns?
No,
when do we start taking turns?
Everyone had a little thought about the show, and I was waiting for mine.
No, go.
Then let me rant.
Rant away.
The fact that there's there's shit in the X-ray that is not even like congruent with what's in the show, right? Like, to me, it almost lost me in either 5 or 6 when young Swan, I thought was amazing. I fucking loved her. I thought she was awesome. She was feisty. She was cool as shit there in Tyr, which, by the way, didn't really make sense map wise. You see the thing above my head, but fuck it. But then all of a sudden, as soon as they walked into this dream or Mitch,
Whatever. Yeah.
whatever the fuck. Like you probably could have heard my bowels just drop. I was so unhappy with the fact that they were somehow meeting. Like, you know what? Take this. Like, she's somehow the dreamer. Okay, that doesn't make sense. Why not? She had a shitty fucking power earlier, which made no sense in the actual book of like, I can see Tavern. Well, that makes no sense because there's not many of those.
Even though that's like the first I've ever
that's
seen.
In the books, I was like,
yeah. So you know what? Take the Tavern viewing and turn it into a small dreaming. Okay. And then instead, what they did was like, I don't know. They had a cool fucking room for banging. Good for them. I love that. I'm happy for them. I love the fact that we're fleshing out literally. Well, presumably, what like what the fuck Pillow Friends is. That needs to be a stronger thing. That's fucking cool. That's great. That makes their friendship like take to another fucking level. I like that for all fucking angles. But then, how did we get here? Like, is it just literally I just opened this fucking hole up? Like, how does no one notice that? Like, it ruins so many other fucking things that like also. At this point, just take the fucking painting with you, and then you guys can just.
I know that can fit in a saddlebag. I was like, why is there no extra? Like, she could put that in a backpack and bring her like TreeXHugger that. Portal to a rustic fuck pad wherever she goes.
I'm taking my white fuck pad everywhere I fucking can.
Yeah, Jono, I was really upset about that whole thing with the doorway.
To me, I could get that because that would be a huge insecurity. Because if she loses that or that gets taken, then she's just given somebody a portal key to kill the
I'm not
Adolin
super serious about that, but I was upset about the like, what the fuck is this doorway bullshit until I saw the trivia and it was giving the info about the TreeXHugger, and I'm like, oh, okay. At that point, there's canon supporting it. I'll allow it. Whatever, you know.
What happens if it goes wrong? Like you walk in, like I can't wait to get my ass eaten, and then all of a sudden, like, what the fuck?
Oh my god! I can't.
Yeah, I was like, okay, is this like an Airbnb? Whatever, it's fine.
Well, at very least, I'm very clean, and I gotta go. I'm feeling it. Yeah.
I mean, so was that in theory? Was that in Telerenrion?
It sounds like it just because of the way it was worded about how it could go to different places, spaces, or experiences. So it made it sound like it was like
you level 3 diked it out like you had like level 4s coming up next.
It sounded like it was like not specifically Telerenrion, but something similar to like what the acceptance test is or something, but it was just like a little more benign, and why not? I mean, why in the Age of Legends you have so many TreeXHugger that they didn't know what they
remember
worked for?
And I'm looking at them, so I'm cheating, but in the big white book, right? Like you could go to a small little, like, I feel like hole is now on the nose, but you could go to like a kind of like a small little niche, right? And like kind of do that. Yeah. Oh, thank you. There's a big white book, and like they could create their own little spots.
Yeah, well, at the point that it specifically in the trivia had an explanation of TreeXHugger, I was like, all right, all right.
It could be a real place as well. It could be that's her old like she rebuilt it.
I'm going to run to the bathroom. I want to talk about episode 7 because I thought that was an excellent episode, and I had a lot fewer problems with it, because I did struggle with episode 8 overall. Also, somebody wanted to push back on my my saying that they were like a licensed adaptation shouldn't be called fan fiction. I just think that anybody who isn't the actual author but is a fan of the show and is making
by definition
is by definition fan fiction.
And let me tell you, fan fiction is sometimes better than $10 million adaptation.
100%. I read a fan fiction about Harry Potter from the point of view of Snape. That was one of the best bits of fiction I've ever read. It was amazing. It was a whole story about Snape, like his whole life and like his point of view and everything. It was incredible. It was so good.
One of our shows,
you have a link. You could pop that somewhere.
I'll have to ask Master of the Deck because, like, I told her about it. She managed to find it, and then, like, because I can't remember, it doesn't have a very exciting title. So, but it was incredible. It was real
I
fucking
spend
long.
half of a week searching for certain fan fiction.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. It was at least as long as Eye of the World. Like, it was really long, but it was so incredibly good. So yeah, fan
I love a long
fiction
fan fiction.
can be written by really excellent writers. Like, yeah, this person made you like feel for Snape in so many different ways. So yeah, looking forward to the Shanchan. It looks like they combined the Shanchan with the Sharans, which I think, you know, because they had a real exotic look.
That works.
Yeah, 100%.
Morgan, go to the bathroom.
Yes.
Come back.
You know what else works?
Morgan, go pee pee and come back.
Oh, that who gave you? Who did? Who when? Where?
All right.
what,
Well,
why?
we had a little.
That's a picture of
this
Yeah,
is
where's
Spare
our
Time.
That is
And
incredible.
Spare Time is working with us on making us a painting, and
that's actually Ryan's penis with a condom on.
and I only wear horn condoms.
Why wouldn't you?
For her pleasure.
For pleasure.
For her pleasure. Like, let's look at this one right here. This is great. This is K/I. That's her face, and this is what it's coming out to be right down there.
Oh, the old brown.
And even here, look at these details right here. Boom.
Oh, that's so pretty.
Yes, he
Zoom
is.
Zoom in further.
What? Oh,
if you had zoomed in further, it was just you again with the fucking.
Oh my god, you should totally do that. Have you seen that trend now where artists will trend? It's like really like good artists are doing it, but like where
There
it
you
like
go.
starts at a small picture and then it like zooms out and it zooms out forever because they've like painted a picture inside of a picture inside of a picture inside of a picture inside of a picture.
So I have seen that.
You should do this with
anyway,
this.
so Spare Time. I just want to say real quick, Spare Time. If you want to reach out to him, he's a great person, and they're great to work with. And
yeah, the Spare is an instantly just considerate and kind person, and also not the worst person to bowl with.
Fun fact.
Yeah.
The first shot, not so well, but second shot guaranteed.
I mean, there's no fruit too low. There's no fruit too low for Jono.
So yeah, that's the name of my podcast is Fruit Too Low. But I have another one. It's called TwoTCast. We've been doing it for far too long, and it is the lowest of the low brows.
Look at the opportunities that show has given you. You're now on our show. If you never started 15 years ago, you'll never be here right now with us.
I'm so old.
I don't think you're older than I am, or if you are, not by much. So it's okay. You just accomplished things in life earlier than I did. That should make
My
me feel good
dick
about
fell
it.
off last week.
Morgan
What?
just doesn't age. Here, take this one.
Oh,
Oh my god.
No, my wife said the whole continent looks like it's
I'm
covered
sorry, I
in
didn't mean to do
dicks.
that. Whoa,
It is coming.
it's coming right for you, Morgan. I'm sorry.
Wow, that
Yeah,
is
she said a
visual.
man looks like the part that goes in your butt.
Nice. Yes.
Yeah.
that's called a tongue.
Mm,
Oh,
this is
Yeah. She's like, that looks like one of those weird DPG spot things, and that Mayan is the
Oh,
part
yeah,
that
makes
goes in your
sense,
butt.
yeah.
And this is a little G-spot little guy
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
right there.
Yeah, yeah. It's also got its own little clittle head on the end
Yeah.
of it.
No, that curls in to like hit your G spot. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
do we think
That's a
that's what's
myth.
being used on the Shanchan?
Hey Dan, we don't promote myths on this
Adolin?
on this channel.
Come on in.
What do you guys think of the pacifiers for the Damani? Is that how we say it? Daman?
Yeah.
Daman?
Look, I'll be honest. It's a weird thing of like,
Little binkies.
obviously there's some, without
I like
getting
it. I
too
like it.
deep into it, like, there's some issues of like, how do you make a society that, on first blush is awful, right? Owning slaves is not really ever, well, I guess, at least in the last 150 years, not really a great thing, right? How do you make that something that's eventually you're going to have some good characters out of? That's a kind of tough, like, dichotomy, right? It's a weird juxtaposition. But at
And
the same
there was
time,
Yeah, it looks like the chain and leash is gone. They may have.
Is that better?
I think one of the reasons
bracelets?
they may have done that is that there are a number of like video games and other books that kind of liberally borrowed from Robert Jordan, and so they took basically the leashed and chained collared mages. So it's sort of like that has already come to a visual medium, so it's sort of like then you're going to have that again, and people are going to they've already been like they took this from Game of Thrones, they took that from whatever, and so it's just kind of like having them in such a way where it's dehumanizing. I mean, obviously leashes are dehumanizing, but they also can be like considered kink shaming depending on who you're talking about. But
I don't think you need to worry about kink shaming. And no offense, I guess if I'm wrong,
are these magical
You're going so
bridles?
far.
Is this like a magical bridle? Those pacifiers?
I think it might just be like you should, like you're not allowed to speak, like you can't be heard. I don't know that they're magical or
the dental lobby took charge of it before it could go to the collar lobby. And therefore,
that was my best guess, but I don't know.
See, I thought instead of the collars, they may have just had these weird mouthpieces, which again may have been like a horse bridle.
They're still very horse-like, right?
Yeah. Which hey, begs
more. It's more visceral. Like if you want to put in place the idea that these are subjugated people, whatever you want to call them, if they're subjugated people, the fact that you come to my arm, like not literally, but like as I feel like very fucking like visceral and poignant in a very negative way, but more than like I'm jerking you by the teeth. Because that's your whole fucking neck, like that. Like the neck is more than the teeth to a certain extent to me.
Oh, you're saying you're on the ear on the pro collar. You wish they were like.
I feel like I should probably caveat that by saying I've had a lot of weird sex, and yes.
Right. In that regard, yeah. I hope it's all consensual.
The only thing
Remember,
I'm
static
hoping
consent
is
the way to leave.
I think I could get on board with the pacifiers, but I do think
that was me sex, yeah.
I could get on board with them because they look. I didn't think Jesus.
I'm not into this though. I thought these look silly.
But I could get on board with it if I see how they're used. But the thing is, I really hope that they do keep from the books is the reveal that you have to be able to channel in order to have it, gentlemen. At this point, I know I shouldn't have that. I shouldn't hold to that because they're changing everything. I shouldn't have things.
They literally
I want.
are changing everything.
But that's such a good story element to have something. A society built upon a lie is such a powerful thing.
It's beautiful. It shouldn't be beautiful, but I think it's wonderful for realistically what this.
And like what it is. Like I mean, that's like what the slavery was in the States. Built upon a lie. So.
I think that having a slavery built upon a lie and built upon a mountain of lies, honestly, is fucking perfect. If you're going to build that into a society and show how fucking abject they really are and how fucking they've never literally looked into a mirror and what that does and how that destroys them, that's the way you got to fucking do it. You have to show how fucking blatantly wrong they are. Like it's just fuck.
Well, I mean,
honestly,
this is a good start, though, right?
They kill a child.
I don't think they've gotten rid of that yet.
You're right. They do kill a child. In the books, they go around collaring women who can channel because they have this societal PTSD from the breaking that these women were all bad. Here, we have not heard about the Black Aja. We have not heard yet that term, I think, in the show at all.
Black
Well, I haven't heard about the 100-Year War or Arthur
the
Hawking.
Shanshan call her women who can channel because, on the Shanshan continent, the post-breaking played out very differently than it did in the Ranland continent. So in the Ranland continent, the women who can channel banded together and made the White Tower and became, forces for good, kept the whole point of the servants of all. Whereas
there were three.
Whereas on the Shanshan continent, they broke apart into individual, parties where they, basically abused their power and became kind of like, warlords or individual fiefdoms. And so because they were, not using their power for good and they, were, they were evil or not necessarily always evil, but they were not, they were not governed by rules in the same way. And so the fear that exists among the Shanshan is kind of founded in a historical place.
I thought it came in from the Arthur Hawkwing point as well. Maybe it's both. It's probably both, right? Because he goes back because Shamael is poisoning his mind the whole time.
Yeah, 100%.
Against the Aes Sedai, and then they go to Shanshan. So okay.
And
so
don't they have like
both?
tainted prophecies? Doesn't one of the Forsaken like fuck with their prophecies?
Cimarog, right?
Maybe I don't know.
So the whole system is built on a lie that they've been like feeling So I mean, there's like sympathies towards them. I think I figured it out, guys. I think like this whole structure right here is the collar, and it's links with this right here.
So I
but you're just not going to see
the idea that your dentures are your collar, right? Like that's the thing that Elaine creates is instead of having the collar is just more of a showpiece, which is an interesting conversation on its own.
No, it could be,
get rid of it, right?
What do you guys think? Do you think it's the binky or is it this structure?
You're not showing us a picture.
Oh shoot!
Yeah, if you were trying to show
what
stuff.
The hell am I doing?
See it in your mind.
Wow. Okay, my bad.
It's all there in my mind.
I thought I was like
it's all in my mind,
guys.
Too.
Oh yeah.
So there is a collar.
Yeah.
Though.
All right, so
and
we
they've
have
got a bracelet.
Oh, there is the collar.
Okay.
And this is the bracelet.
Well, this is the most pointless conversation. Hey, but you can see the leaf, though. You can see
unless that's just a very high turtleneck.
It's a Bluetooth collar, guys.
Yeah, but you can see
Bluetooth collar. Yeah.
She
has a Bluetooth as well. Look at the other woman, if you can.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
And
she has a nicer collar. It's a little cleaner. Maybe she's
got a Beats.
Okay, and then maybe the binky is because it to be further dehumanizing because they're not allowed to speak, and the face tattoos are supposed to be like a point of honor, but also because if you are you have the ability to learn, you're going to be a Sul'dam. That's your path in life. But
no, I think that looks like she just passed out in the sun.
Yeah.
But
maybe showing your dicks on her face.
Hey, so they are, I'm assuming, going to continue the whole thing of learning about the Sul'dam, and I think they're probably going to do that partly because if Mat is going to, marry the daughter of the Nine Moons, they're going to have character growth for Tuon that they don't have in the books, so that rather than looking like a moral coward and an asshole at the end of the series, Mat can actually not look like a dick and make everybody disappointed. So it's just kind of
right. Because she is an evil woman that he marries. It's hard to make her charismatic.
I mean, a lot of people like Tuon. I can't because she just has a zero character growth, or her character growth is so small. And it's like, I know RJ intended to write further stuff where she presumably finally would have pulled her head out of her ass.
But lazily, he decided to die.
Yeah. But the point is because, she doesn't, it's just sort of like, to me, it makes Mat look like a moral coward to to be with her. And, because it's just kind of like if you're not holding, and the pattern and everything, blah, blah, blah. But it's just sort of like, hopefully they'll have her have actual character growth and they'll show the actual starting to break down in the show.
Ryan, can you zoom in? Can you zoom in on that gauntlet again, that bracelet? I think there were ravens on there, which I think is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Actually, they're cravens. They're scared.
They're scaredy cats.
Well, I hope what they. I keep
almost
keep
Aztec.
some of.
I was gonna say Aztec exactly.
That's very Aztecal.
Sorry, what?
How do you say
Carolina?
Aegean or Aegean?
Aegeanan?
Yeah, that's
Eon.
But I hope they keep. Well, I don't necessarily hope they keep her. I do like her, but I actually think they can figure out ways to tell her story through Tuon. But like if they kind of did something where there's like the person that there's a trope for it where you put a character in a place and they learn to not hate a place because they're in the place. But
Stockholm syndrome.
No.
I don't think it's that.
It's like the opposite of that. Actually, it's like
Coxcomb syndrome.
The syndrome Stockholm.
That was good. That was well.
She does not look happy. I like that.
She looks pretty miserable.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. She looks like she has like
that actress left the next scene. She was so done. Like this giant metal fucking pacifier.
She's like, yeah, Jesus. They didn't even wash it between takes.
So there are some monster heads behind Ryan. You zoomed in on one.
Yeah, well, I mean, no, these are just weird, stupid helmets, I think.
So instead of the bug helmets, are we gonna have like zombie helmets?
Yeah, they have bug helmets on the higher ship. So on the further
zoom in.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Ooh. I did like this. I'll be honest. I like this ending.
I thought the entrance was great because I was like, what a way to let you know these guys are bad fucking news and really evil right away than to tsunami a little girl.
There's a bug
helmet. It looks good. CGI
I don't understand the tsunami of the. What's the point of tsunami a girl?
Bitches, we're here.
Do we think the little girl was the target?
My bad. I must admit that sweeping.
What, Carolina?
That girl could channel. They don't know.
The target. I think the little girl was a casualty of them trying to be like, "Hello, we're here."
Yeah. They probably couldn't even see.
It's funnier to think.
They probably couldn't even see her from the deck of the ship.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, I did some math, and I did ends up. What happens if you send a giant wave forward?
Okay, go on.
It comes back.
It comes back.
Yeah, their ships should have been affected. So, no laws of physics violated here.
Because you've got 100 feet of depth, but ends up all it is just energy that does this and then comes back like that.
They're gonna fly away on the.
What is this animal?
Yeah, the women on the ships that did the pushing should have by themselves pushed the ships back. If you're talking physics here.
But always, because Robert Jordan had a degree in Robert Jordan had a degree in physics.
Yeah,
are we going to see? Are we going to see?
We need to use the little hand things that they have on fucking Zoom.
Are we going to see Grom, or did we only just get a little Easter egg on that ship?
What did you say was just a swimming?
No, on the headmast. On the headmast, it was a three-eyed. Yeah, the headmast.
Oh, that looks like a tiger to me.
There were three eyes, though. There were three eyes on it when it.
Was it?
When it zoomed over it? Yeah.
So that's a tail raking, right?
Three eyes is the Grom.
I think.
Yeah. Book 2. What's up?
And the Torm, which that might be the cats, the three-eyed cats.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Scale cats.
Yeah, that's what you see.
Cool.
Like he keeps putting arrows through. What would you have done if it was just go back and it's like point speed or point break, and instead of
here comes.
Is it Skeeterish in a Nixon mask?
Yeah, this is Rick Judkins in a Nixon mask. If you just done that briefly.
What was his name? His name was Bodie. It was.
Hey, I mean, for a show that's supposed to be so woke, they've got like 2 dead little girls. We got this gone girl.
They've fridged a lot of women.
Yeah, how do you say goner in the old tongue?
How do you know it's a girl?
Good point.
He's just in the off take. They just kept doing this. Woo!
I call my boy sweetheart
for everyone else on set.
I don't know. Sweetheart.
Actually, he says I do it for him, doesn't he?
No.
Later, what I do, I'll do for. Yeah, hold on.
Does he have a
I took notes.
Honestly, his lips. Go back to his lips. Like they are perfect for a fake mustache.
He has a pretty mouth.
Like it's perfect. He's got a great mouth. Like I've never looked at it. He's got that mouth. Oh, there's a scar.
He's got some nice scars. He's got a pretty mouth. He's a pretty man.
He's a good
Yeah.
Lews Therin. I'm excited to see more of him.
I think he's fantastic. I want more Lews Therin. Like, he's fantastic.
So you guys want to talk about episode 7?
Yeah,
Please.
let's go for it. Why not?
All right, so now that we're on hour 2.5, we're gonna go back one episode per 2.5 hours. We're on until...
Episode 7 was a good episode. I liked it better than this one.
Oh yeah, episode 7 was probably. I still think episode 4 was probably the best episode, but I liked episode 7 immensely. It was so
1,
outstanding.
2, 3, 4. Hey, real quick, I want to apologize to everyone because I'm fucked up. I've been drinking for 12 hours, 9:30. 12 hours straight. And
you're doing great.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Hey, we don't condone this type of behavior, but we don't judge you.
Yeah, you should judge the fuck out of me. But anyway, I apologize if I just start getting loud. I shouldn't. I apologize. But no, you are correct, Morgan, and go on.
Well, Carolina, what did you think about it?
I did like it. It is, I think the ways was cool. I didn't love the set, to be honest. I thought it looked like plastered.
Like a set.
Yeah. But I did like the handling of the ways. I think I would have liked, I liked the idea, the concept of the hexagon, whatever, hexagonal.
Yeah.
There we go. The Giant's Causeway kind of look. I just kind of think maybe they could have filmed the Giant's Causeway. I don't know. I was just thinking, it'd be cool if they actually went somewhere. But otherwise, I thought I loved Min so much, man. I was like, because in the books, Min is one of my biggest issues. But in the show, I was like, I can get behind this because she's got such a, intense, immediate, you just know who she is, like, off the bat. It's hard because I'm trying to think of, like, what happened in that episode because now it's
cold open, Tigran kicking ass.
Oh, the cold open was so fucking awesome. That was so cool. That was such a cool thing for them to get a stunt actor to do that scene.
Maybe that was one of the reasons. Oh, sorry. Let me interrupt you. Oh, maybe that was one of the reasons why I was so disappointed in the cold open in episode 8, is I was expecting something epic after episode 7, and I felt so let down.
Because that was such a build. Such a freaking cool cold open. And then episode 6's cold open was pretty good as well with Swan. I didn't love her acting, but I thought it was good. Episode 5 was...
It was the funeral.
Okay, never mind. And then there was another cold open that I'm trying to think of that was really good.
I think it was
the Nynaeve one. Maybe?
Episode 3, that was really good.
Nynaeve, but there's been a few that are so good that it makes it weird when you step in and they're not that good.
Yeah.
But I thought the cold open was
episode
really cool.
4 was good with the Gildan. But yeah, this one was amazing. I loved watching the non-reader reacts. I'm like, wait till they see that it's a woman, wait till they see she's pregnant, and then and everyone was just like
all right, so Morgan, so let me ask you, what do you think about the change to make the Ogier pretty much obsolete in opening the ways?
I thought it was odd, but honestly, I'm not a huge fan of the Ogier, and I don't really care about the ways, so it wasn't a huge thing. One of my favorite things about the Wheel of Time is that most of the characters are human, and there aren't a lot of fairies, gnomes, and elves. There are no fairies, gnomes, and elves, basically, except for the Aelfin. And it's like,
what about the Aelfin?
But it's just kind of like, for the most part, all of the characters are humans, and it sets it apart from so much of fantasy, and I like it because of that. And so it's like, I do like, the character of Loyal, but if they had cut him from the show, I wouldn't have cared. And, because I just am kind of like not invested in the Ogier. I fell in love with him in this episode, specifically because I was kind of like, in episode 5. Watching it again, I felt a little better about him, but when they're walking through and he's talking, telling his story about how great it was, but now you could fall into an endless void, and Egwene is like, there's something worse. And he's like, oh yeah, certainly, just really offhand. I was like, okay, I love him. That was just great. His just offhand, like,
tons of stuff.
yeah, like just, oh
You
yeah,
can fall
certainly,
forever, baby.
and continues, and then Rand is like, we understand, Loyal, it's okay. And I'm just sort of like, there's a Loyal Rand interaction there that's really good. I did like the way the ways looked, and partly I liked the way the ways looked because it looks like the Deep Roads in Dragon Age. It looks like they borrowed a couple of things from Dragon Age, and since Dragon Age borrowed liberally from the Wheel of Time, they took so much from the Wheel of Time. They took things like the elements of, the mages can be made tranquil instead of being gentle. There's the Fade instead of Teleron Rhea. There's so much in Dragon Age that is borrowed from the Wheel of Time, which is, fine. It's one of the things where a certain people, there's a specific type of people that put their collars on their mages. Like there are just endless things that are borrowed from the Wheel of Time. So borrowing some visuals back, like, fine.
Why not?
So why not?
Someone like you own it, yeah.
And specifically, I just thought it looked so much like, the Deep Roads and some of the missions that you do in the Deep Roads, and particularly in the first game, they're so creepy and horrible. And I was really here for it. I loved the lightning flashes. There was no explanation of why you needed an ogre except to read the guiding, and then it's sort of like, but maybe.
Well, even that wasn't even defined. It was like, oh, this shit's broken. Can you figure it out, scholar? And he's like, yeah, I can.
So I feel like that was kind of weird. And obviously, if they needed the one power to get out, they were expecting, Moraine was expecting to have a talk with them at the end and be like, so, okay, this wind is going to come. It's going to speak to you. Don't listen. I'll get us out of here as fast as I can. And, Rand and Egwene channeling called it a little early.
Well, why does she keep waking up to everything? Is she like the lightest sleeper in the group, or is it something else going on?
She feels the shadow spawn.
Where is Joe? Joe had a neighbor that we used to when we'd go get drunk at Joe's house. Like, this is 15 years ago. His neighbor would just like all of a sudden be like more than probably more awake than we were. Just like as soon as we had like one sip, like he was already next door, like. Anyway, so that's Egwene.
Wait, he was having an asthma attack?
How dare you? I'm an asthmatic myself, and I just got my inhaler and my Advair.
Okay.
Well done.
Ryan, what do you use? Use albuterol.
I have a Q-Var and an albuterol, yeah. Oh, and Montecusolate. Check out Singular is a great product.
Singular is great. We have an albuterol HFA is what... I guess we're royal weed. But anyway, go back to the fucking show.
Yeah, so you guys liked Min. Did you like how her so when she said they're connected, I can see it. Did you guys see it? I mean, I couldn't see what she was.
There was like stars around them.
Yeah.
There were 8 sparkles. It looked like my lights. Like my wife put out some solar lights. And it's just been kind of cloudy lately, so it's real dark.
Yeah, I liked it. I liked that it was subtle, though.
I didn't notice it.
He wasn't heavy-handed, which I liked because I was worried about. I actually do like this. I don't know. It just seems not too invasive. Like I was afraid it was going to be like a carousel of things.
So is that Min's baby? Is that why she pours it? Is that why
I thought that was Joya, but then
is that Joya?
It looks like Joya.
It looks like a boy.
Yeah, that can't be actually. The coloring of the clothes are different than the dream.
Hey, this baby can choose.
I think it's Min.
My point is when Moraine is like, whose baby, Min looks away, pours a drink, takes it, and is like, I don't know, looks like any other baby. I think it's Min's baby.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think if you said, "Hey, Min, is it Monday or Tuesday?" she'd step away, pour a drink, take a shot, and say it's Monday.
I like Min. Like parts of Min seem parts. I wish they'd ever given her a better name because saying I like parts of Min just seems off-putting. Not because of like a sexual thing. I
like the secrets of
parts of Dick, but it just seems like I'm kind of just far afield. But again, parts of Min seem kind of perfect, and then other parts just seem like again, what happens in book 8? Jesus, in episode 8, we see her like being loaded out and leaving.
Yeah,
She's
it's
awesome. Yeah.
That's not the men I know.
It said foreigners out of the city. Annalisa was like, foreigners get out. And
That's
so,
not the Annalisa I know.
yeah.
Well, yeah, we also the men that we know in most of the books.
How do you conquer that term?
Is some weird little like demure lap kitten.
No, that's
No.
not true. She
Who-
tries to assume that personality because she thinks that that's the way to get Rand, and she wants to cover for her fucking wetness for him. The fact is,
I don't think that changes anything about what you said. Like, if all of her whole personality is based around getting a dude.
So I would love to see
That's
this
it.
actress be like lap kitten men and be like, oh, purr, I love you. And then be like, oh yeah, that person's going to die tomorrow.
Yeah, I really like Min. She is not one of my favorite characters normally because, I don't subscribe to the idea that she's a sexy lamp because it's like somebody has to be the smart one. And the fact that she, you cannot write something narratively interesting if somebody, reading books and figuring out the really important, like heavy thinking. And, and she's the one who figures out that Rand has to break the seals. And so she's in the corner reading and you cannot make that interesting. So I like what they did here. I like that she's a bartender rather than a stable hand, that they brought her to Faldara. Fine. It doesn't matter where she is. So
I think it's a cool thing, right?
I like this belt.
Yeah.
Are we going to see carnivals and rainbows and 3 beautiful women or whatever she said? What
think
was it?
so,
Carnival?
yeah.
I think so, yeah.
We're going to see all 3 of those, you think?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah,
In some
I think
form.
Val and Luca actually owns the rights to the entire show.
And he owns rainbows. He's able to
And I'll
make
say,
a rainbow.
can
occur.
Hey, and let me just say, Min's got a really high opinion of herself.
Does she?
Well, she
What?
calls herself beautiful.
She's
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I mean,
I was like,
that's
I
fine.
didn't
Yeah.
get that.
I said what I said. Say it,
I don't
Carolina.
think there's anything wrong with that. Was she supposed to say 2 beautiful and 1 fugly woman to like be
So,
self-deprecating?
2 beautiful women and somebody that looks weirdly a lot like me.
2
Make
beautiful
your own
women
choices,
and
Rand.
It's like 2 beautiful and one of them's kind of average women.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too beautiful in one, like if you're drunk enough, like that seems like a little like.
Yeah.
there's one.
Hey,
There's
don't get
one
me wrong,
woman
I
there.
think Min is very beautiful.
Yeah,
I think
she's
so.
beautiful.
But
You
one
can
of those
just walk all over
women, when she wakes up in the morning and looks in the mirror, she has disparaging thoughts about herself. I'm
Yeah.
just guessing.
Yeah,
Oh,
you'll need your
Elaine
beer
definitely
goggles,
has
but
issues. Though.
yeah, no, I think she's great.
I think she's
and-
awesome. I do love the fact. The fact is, like, it's easy to kind of combat some of like Min's like personality issues later, but at the same time, she is the first person to draw fucking daggers for anyone and throw them like in defense of herself or Rand. And I think that's fucking cool.
Mm-hmm. And
Again.
we just started book 4 with our first time readers, and Min is walking through a fucking horror show. Everyone around her is going to die, and she's seeing this as she's being escorted to the Amerlin. I mean,
she keeps masturbating. It's weird.
it's so weird. She's so hot. She's like, my clit won't stop
My-
vibrating.
My
Isn't
biggest,
it a song by Hall & Oates?
It's humming.
my biggest problem with Min, I mean, I have several, but I don't like the fact that she lets Swan bully her in the first chapter of The Shadow Rising, because in her shoes, I would have been like, oh yeah, sure, I'll stay here, and then been on my horse and gone.
Like
'cause,
that,
you know,
yeah.
and and secondly, I don't know.
She wasn't behind that mission. Yeah, she didn't like do it because she was
She-
behind it.
Is not my favorite of Rand's 3 women, because it's like, yeah, I mean, RJ's not good at writing relationships at all, so it's sort of like any of them, it's kind of like nah. But I don't like the idea of, oh, I see a vision that I'm going to fall in love with you. It's just like I can't stand vision. She has so little agency, and so she frustrates me.
Yeah, yeah. She should change agencies.
I think if we go down the Min path, we might be here a while.
Oh yeah, but I
I've
like.
had this conversation so many times.
I like,
but I do
Showman.
agree with you. Yeah, and that's what I'm hoping is that Showman has more kind of control of her. But I also think just seeing Min in visual form will get rid of a lot of the issues, because in the book you only read usually from Rand's perspective what she's doing, and then when we are in her head, she's always just so worried about Rand. Instead of like, we don't really get time to see how engaged she is with the trying to figure out the prophecy and that what is that book guy's name, where it's like, it's actually like a really emotional scene when he dies, that guy.
Hey, we got
I don't know what his name is, so but that could be, all of this will be better. Yes, porn, we've got it.
Love Face XYZ. Can you like and subscribe? Can you also sign up to our Patreon?
Please,
they
money.
have
They
enough
need
to
money.
go around if they're.
Brother Dan hasn't trimmed his eyebrows in 6 months because he doesn't have the money.
All right, so
I'm cleaning my screen right now.
Yes.
So real quick, I promised my hottest take of the evening, and you always got to wait closer.
It's coming.
I tease, and I'm releasing. I think I was happy they killed Loyal. I was like, this Loyal could die.
They didn't kill him.
I know. When I found out that, when I heard that, I was more pissed. I was like, fuck, man. Loyal is just a wicked, hey Google.
There's like 3 fake out deaths this episode.
Yeah.
He's Siri. Hey Loyal.
Hey Siri.
Hey, we're on episode 7 now.
Oh shit.
All right. Well, I mean, hey, you're right.
Yeah.
But I just had a hot take. It's burning my tongue.
Hot take. My problem is the fact that he fucking reveals that in a goddamn interview. That's a problem.
So dumb.
Yeah. But anyway, next up.
Yeah.
Episode 7.
Yeah.
Loyal's like, how does it feel to be home? And then disappears for the rest of the episode. So you don't see him again.
Yep. All right. So what?
All right, I got to go to the bathroom real quick. I'll be right back.
All right. So episode 7, we have the bookends with all of a sudden the reveal.
Well, we do have that. We also have Loyal going and having dinner and stuff.
Loyal?
I'm sorry. Lan. I mean, Lan going and having dinner with a family.
This was kind of the romance sort of episode too, but it was like, I don't know. I like the fact that like Lan and Nynaeve have their they get it this episode, and then he breaks up with her in episode 8. So I was just kind of like, she's like, I might get married. He's like, yeah. So I hope you find somebody.
Yeah. So you know what? Maybe she was the one who was bad in bed.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he told her to stay. But
that makes sense. He fell asleep saying, "Don't worry about it. It's okay, babe."
He's like, "Oh, you're leaving? Okay, good." But no, he told her to stay.
Hey, there's 2 rivers.
Wow, that's good. That's a good point. You know what the mountains are when he starts farting.
That's
you have a very low sense of humor.
That means he was part of Sigma Chi, baby. I got one on my back too.
Nynaeve needed to cheer herself up after she fucked everything up with the kids. So
yeah, this is very selfish.
Yeah, she spilled Perrin's secret, and it's like, I don't know if Egwene knew Perrin had a thing for her, but Rand certainly didn't, and Nynaeve's just sort of like, fucking.
Well, hey, stay right there.
The average man lasts 3 to 5 minutes.
Morgan, do you think that she ate his ass?
From that photo, it looks like
probably not till they're married.
You think that's a marriage thing, huh?
I don't know. I think it depends. Probably in the 2 rivers it is.
It is.
Does that count kissing?
That's how they stay virgins.
Yeah.
3 minutes? Oh my gosh.
No, yeah, 3 to 5, and then it takes like an average woman to have 12 minutes. It's called the orgasm gap. Look it up.
Do you guys stop?
Look it up.
Disappointing.
Do you stop and take a shit in between? 3 minutes?
What do you think sex is?
Ejaculate. I'm more ejaculate early.
That was clever.
And there goes
that
the
was a
gold
big
star
setup
of
for
the
that
evening.
joke, right?
I yeah, I got it.
That was a
but
huge setup.
What are we talking about here? What are we talking about? This
we're trying to see whether or not they really had a good time. She does not look happy.
Well, why
I
would
think-
she? She just
I
had
think-
3 to 5 minutes with the King of Malkier.
I think her finding out that he was a king was a major turnoff. You know,
Yeah.
she was like, you know, why did he call you Daishan? Because I think she figured out that sounds awfully titly, and then he's like, it's a title for future kings, and she was like, oh.
Morgan, I have a question to you. Do you think they call it Malking the prostate?
Do you guys have these written down before we come on?
I don't know.
Come on,
Come on.
yeah,
I'm just shocked.
I don't.
The creativity.
Go
is just
go back
amazing.
to shirtless sleeping on his stomach land for me, please, Ryan.
Yeah.
Two back. Yeah, that shoulder is weird looking. It looks like it took a cleaver from a Trolloc and is healed weird. No, the other, up. Like,
Oh, I was going to say a scar.
right
You
there.
can see
Guess
the
what?
edge of
This is
the
nothing. Yeah, it
prosthetic.
does
Right
not look
there.
normal.
That
You
looks
can
all
see the
fu-
makeup. You can
looks
see
like
the
an
edge of it. It looks like
ankle.
a band that they've taped on.
Oh wait! This right here?
Yeah. Okay. Look to the. You see how you see those 2 lines? That's where
Right there?
the wound would have been. They probably pasted it on each day. So you see on the bottom that like light white line
Yeah.
there, and then go to the top, and then you see that.
You should see my
That's a tape.
Yeah.
my
Go
penis
on,
The
Jono.
wound wouldn't have done that.
just kind of just taped on.
I mean, it doesn't look bad. I wouldn't have noticed that unless I had looked at this photo for a long time. So it's fine.
Well, they should know that we're out here analyzing the scarf.
These
Wait,
ones
does
are
Ryan?
fine.
Does he have back dimples? Go down.
Yeah.
No, they CGI those
No,
in.
come on, go. Zoom, keep going. Yeah, they're not. Nah, they're not huge. Nah,
No.
there's not really back dimples.
What are these lines?
That's probably like real muscle.
Are those stretch marks from his amazing ass just getting popping?
No, when you
hard.
just peel open the back of his pants, it's like Pulp Fiction, where like the glow comes up.
Like glow?
What?
You know what I did love though? I loved the Moraine and land scene in this episode. That small scene. Anyone else?
Yeah. No, that was a really good scene. It was kind
Yes.
of like, partly because I feel like it's foreshadowing her letting him go. They've been foreshadowing that for a while. They foreshadowed it in episode 5, which is one of the reasons why I think they spent a good bit of time, on Warder Grief and just the bond in general. And while I think they spent too much time on it, they should have focused a bit more on Rand and Matt, being in the city, or some character development for Rand and Matt and some character development for Loyal in that. They.
How about Steppin' and Matt?
Well, I would love to watch that. I think that to the actual fact, although I'd watch some Steppin' and Matt stuff go on, I think one of the things that the problem is like about the Steppin' death or Steph is they've done a very bad job, really, to my mind. Like they've mentioned, like, Water is going to feel his Aes Sedai's death, or an Aes Sedai will feel her Water's death, but they haven't really done a great job of really fleshing that out. Of really saying, like, what happens is, like, it's the most obvious thing, right? If we're bonded and you die, I feel you die.
Yeah.
Can you imagine feeling someone die? Not just like, you just died next to me, but literally, I feel you fucking die. That is visceral.
I feel
Why
like
is that something that happens?
people
Go
do
on.
notice that. I mean, I don't know if you've watched any of the non-reader reacts on YouTube, but it's interesting to get their points. And yeah, most of them, when Karenni dies, are like, oh, dude, he felt that. And then, they kind of are into the 5th episode because of that and how much they learn about the Warder and the Aes Sedai bond. And because a lot of them are hardcore shipping, Lana and Nynaeve from episode 4 and all the chemistry that they've got going on, they kind of are wondering, because of the things that Moraine say, is there any way that they can get together? Is she talking about letting him go? And they put a lot into kind of building that up. I feel like there's foreshadowing for Moraine dying and Moraine passing the
that's fair.
bond.
Yeah.
There was foreshadowing to that, and I'm assuming she's going to pass it to Alana instead of to Mirel. And so I feel like episode 5 was a massive foreshadowing episode. It was sort of
That's
like,
what I hope.
yeah, I feel like it was a found. I feel like it was. I feel like it was a foundational episode for probably for season 2 and probably for season 3. Like I feel like they, and they had to have stuff like that because so much of the Wheel of Time is foreshadowing, and so they should have gotten more episodes because to do that kind of foreshadowing, and you only get 8 episodes. There are things that are going to get missed.
No, Morgan, I agree.
Character development. Okay, what, Dan?
I don't think they mentioned passing the bond. I think
they did.
It was wasn't it just releasing?
She said releasing, and then, well, no, maybe she didn't, but she did say that something to the effect of.
She said, I'd heard that you can release a bond, and Alana's like, don't do that.
And then, you can bond another Aes Sedai. So it's set up for people who don't know the books that a warder can be released and that a warder can go to another Aes Sedai, because the speculation of the non-readers is he going to die? Does he have to kill himself? They were wondering, is he going to have to commit a ritualistic suicide, or, is he going to get kicked out of the tower? Like there was all of this speculation of what was going to happen to this warder who had lost his Aes Sedai. And then they were learning, Moraine could let Lon go. There was a chance that he could be with Nynaeve. Oh no, Stefan could go to another Aes Sedai.
Right. That's the impression I got, was that it was voluntary, so that Moraine could release her bond, but Stefan had the choice to join Alana or not.
Mm-hmm.
Moraine was like, "Do you think he's going to do it?" And Alana's like, "I don't know." And it sounded to me like that was the option, that she could release Lan and then he could either join with someone else or go die.
So they did.
Yeah.
I feel like they used Stefan to do a whole bunch of foundational foreshadowing and world building for Lon and Moraine's relationship going forward. And then, they've already built up a whole bunch of interest for everybody hardcore shipping, Lon and Nynaeve, and then kind of moving into episode 7, they finally, at least bone down, and there's romance. She meets the family and everything, and then he breaks up with her in episode 8 when she mentions marriage. What, Jono?
Oh no, I was waiting for you to be done.
No, I know. That's why I was like, what?
No, I had a very highbrow question. Like to a certain extent, I thought it would have been amazing for Stefan to have been, instead of Elias, Stefan, because he could have been Steppenwolf.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Carolina?
Mm-hmm. That's what you did. And
where's the question, Jono? You said there's a question.
No, he had a pun. What were you going to say, Carolina?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I was agreeing with you. I think this episode is kind of very like this whole kind of huge amount of foreshadowing. I just really hope that is what it was, because part of me has a theory that there was something else filmed with Matt, and that they went back and filmed a lot of the Stefan stuff, even that with the intent of making this a bigger storyline than it was meant to be, because they needed to wean us off Barney Harris and his amazing performances, and also just like kind of make you realize, or not make you realize, but make you not, care for him as much.
I also, real quick, and Carolyn, you deserve all the time in the world, but I love the fact that everyone else was laughing their asses off that the Leaf brothers being shushed on their own show. It happens on my show all the time.
I know.
On my own fucking show.
I was in the wrong. No, she was entirely right.
Very, very rude of me.
No, I was interrupting.
Morgan,
I enjoyed it. So.
Stop it.
Now it's all equal. Everything's coming back to balance.
Yeah, but right back here. No, so go on, Caroline. I'm sorry that these guys.
I didn't. I think I said everything I wanted.
Well, part of the foreshadowing is that Rand says, "Go to the White Tower. You want to go to the White Tower? I'll go too. I'll be your warden." Do we think that's going to happen?
No, and he knew it wasn't going to happen.
I just swear they don't have any chemistry. I just don't think they even look. I'm never excited when they're on screen together. I just like Nynaeve and Lan. I'm immediately like, there is a magnetic something there.
Oh God, yeah.
I wish that they didn't let that. I wish they had waited a little longer on. They could. I think they could have had sexy time. I just don't think he should have given that really speech to her in
So
episode
early,
8.
yeah.
I would have loved that, and just even in like 2 episodes, like just give me a just a bit of just a little, just some time to feel like to feel like they're going somewhere and then realize they can't, or And I think that has to do a lot to do with their changes in land, which I plan on doing a long video on, because there's nothing about the fact that his duty is keeping him from her. It's all about her duty keeping her from him, which is fine. Like, that's totally
Changes
fine.
in land is my password for my work accounts, and
I just wish, because I think it's like such a tragic thing about his character is that he feels he has to sacrifice himself to the blight. But that wasn't talked about once in this episode, and I feel like they're not. I think that's a change. I don't think they're actually going to bring that in, because I think they would have by now. But maybe they will.
We should have like 18 different topics and get really drunk and yell about them, because I want to. Oh, I'm already there. I would love to get drunk and just yell about. Oh, already there, because like there are things like you mentioned, like the duty. Again, that now it just sounds like I'm just taking shit, right? But like the fact is, like, that is such a piece of Lan's character, and the fact is that Lan's character is not defined not necessarily by Moraine so much as her helping really define what his character should have been, not just to go kill himself in the fucking blight, but to find something that would kill the blight. Like, that's such an amazingly easy, obvious like redirection that's just not really mentioned. Like, that's just rough.
Which maybe it'll come back, because they did show us the towers, so maybe there's
the towers look like shit. The towers, like Joe and I were joking, the towers look like Joe's kid Violet fucking doing a drip job. That's not a hand
sand,
job. Like on a fucking beach.
Yeah,
like it was bad to me.
I feel like they didn't do. I'm sorry, Ryan. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say hi to Hanaya MW. That's a new name, and I love your bunny.
Hello.
I hope that's a real bunny, and that your bunny's still kicking it.
Is it a bunny?
Right now.
I think it's in the beginning of book
right
2.
now.
The beginning of book 2 is when he talks about sheathing the sword before they go speak to the Amaryllis, I believe.
Yeah, but
I don't
when he
know
gives
if he
that
does
speech,
it in book 1.
When he gives that speech, he says, "I don't want to give you widow's weeds or widow's flowers or whatever," which he doesn't say
to her on the top of the tower.
It wasn't legal back then. It's legal now.
White Widow?
Because
White
that's
Widow's
like why
good.
he gives her over the campfire in the first
White
place.
Widow weed?
Well, I feel like they cut out a lot of, what Nine even the book would call hairy-chested drivel, but just like the really maudlin melodrama that, it's like, I feel like, it's a lot of like toxic masculinity of, like this duty to die in the blight because, his land died, and it's like, so he has to do that because, that's the oath sworn in his name and everything. And so, rather than just being like, what, that's stupid, fuck that, so it's like the expectations put upon him because that's what a man does. And,
But that's like his arc, though, because his whole arc, that's what Robert Jordan comments on. That's what he's making a commentary on, is the toxic masculinity. So now that's gone. Like, because I've seen that critique, and I get it. I get, him being a more emotional character isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it means he changes his arc, because what Nynaeve does for him is humanizes him and gives him a way out of his toxic masculinity.
I mean,
and makes him realize strength doesn't come from there.
I feel like the entirety of the Wheel of Time is a commentary on toxic masculinity.
Truly.
It's
so maybe they're going to go with you're right, because they can do that with Rand instead of him, and maybe they just don't want to tell that they are very foils of each other in some ways. Like Lan learns it quicker and is not quicker but earlier because he's been in this life for so long. It's almost like he learns everything about 2 books before Rand does.
And I feel like it's like people don't have a lot of patience for that now, so you got to play to your audience too. So it's sort of like, I don't feel like you can have more than one main character be like, I have to be strong, or hard, not strong. I have to, you are gonna, you're gonna have to. Village Mattress, I think they're doing that next season. So assuming they're gonna find Rand again and do that.
Do you think Min is going to where Rand is because she just fucking knows?
Don't know.
I hope so.
Is she gonna
Honestly,
meet-
that's the best theory I've heard since the dick jokes that we made on our own show. Because her leaving really upset me. Like that seems. I know that she's not everyone's favorite character because she seems a little bit too much like. I just want to be Rand's lap. I had a joke, but it's
Lap
too
kitten.
yeah lap count. But but instead, her kind of being there, she's a little more aggressive, a lot more in a very fun way so far, and I kind of like that idea. Like, I don't know, like, well, there was a lot more going on. I don't want to sidetrack where the conversation was going, but I think there's something delightful, and it's 10. Wow, that's it. I feel like I've been on this show for 5 hours. I need another beer. Anyway, you guys go on.
So the men, the scene with Min and Rand is a little weird. Rand just walks in and it's like, "Tell me I'm not the Dragon Reborn." She's like, "You're not the Dragon Reborn." Like,
yucks galore.
Yeah. That seemed like an abrupt kind of thing for me. I guess it's like, all right, tell me, and she got down to nitty gritty. But Jesus, he walks into a bar and he's like, I'm sorry, I let me introduce myself first. My name's Rand. That was kind of funny, I guess. That was his question. That was his instant question. And he was like, "Tell me I'm not it." And she's like, "Yeah, fine, you're not it."
Yeah, I didn't feel like they had very good chemistry, but I guess they didn't really when they first met. So theirs is more like a friendship that evolved. And theirs was also kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy too, because, and she puts all the effort in off screen. So you don't really see it because there's like 4 months between book 3 and book 4 where she's, getting to know him and being his friend and everything, and presumably falling in love with him because, she's destined to fall in love with him. But
and she tells him right then, she says, "Our paths are going to meet. You're going to leave now, but you can't run away from me. They're going to meet." It would have been cool if she had said something like that.
She seemed a lot more adult here, which I appreciate. I appreciate all of the characters being a little bit more adult, but
oh, Hillbilly!
Thank
New
you,
name. Welcome. Like and
but
subscribe.
I feel like I feel like what I did not like about the scene with Rand and Min at the end is the idea that her visions began because he was born on Dragon Mount. I thought that was kind of trite. I was just sort of like, why does that have to be a thing? I mean, I suppose.
Ooh, I like that.
I mean, yeah, I guess there's something to be said for the fact that like his being born was so like, amazing that like kickstarted a whole bunch of shit in the pattern. But for me, I'm just sort of, for storytelling purposes, it's like, why do we need her to tell us, oh, this man found this baby and raised him, by 2 rivers? We already knew all of that. So it's just kind of like.
But she saw the sword. She's more Tavern than anyone that we've seen so far. I mean, if Rand and Tam hook up with her, that's Tavern shit right there. I don't know. Anyways,
Okay, what's the point you were saying? I got distracted by Jono.
I was just trying to make the point that I wasn't a huge fan of the idea that her visions were basically kick-started by Rand's birth and her running into his dad randomly on the streets of Tarval. And I thought that was like a level of plot convenience for no real payoff, because nothing that she saw or nothing that she had to tell Rand was necessary. We already knew everything that she told him, basically. And the flashback that that we get afterward with, Tam holding Tigraine's hands, she didn't see that necessarily. So it's just sort of like we're getting that information filled in. So I don't know. I didn't like it very much, but that was just my personal opinion. I don't hate it as much the second time I saw it But so it's one of those things where I like it more the more I read it or more I watch it. But
it's like porn, yeah.
It's like porn. No, I got bored after 10 minutes. Is that what you mean?
I'll be honest,
3 to 5. 3 to 5.
I fast forward through the blowjobs.
You know what? It depends on the part. Sometimes we're all here for the money shot. The problem is the money shot here of Tam, young Tam CGI did not look good.
I thought it looked great.
I didn't think it looked good, but I really liked that he guided Rand into this life. I
love that. I love that. So that's I will not disagree whatsoever. I just thought Tam himself looked like he was not a healthy member of society. He looked a little like it just.
He did look. He looked odd.
Yeah, he looked
kind
of like
distinct.
Yeah. He looked like me. Unhealthy member of society.
He looked like he should be in Labyrinth.
What did you think, Carolina?
I thought a lot of things.
Talk to me.
Right answer.
Sorry, I'm just. Yeah, I thought he looked. I did think he looked quite weird. Part of me is just kind of like, he looked so old in the first episode. You could have just shaved him and dyed his hair a little bit, maybe. Honestly, I don't think you need to do much because, once somebody, because when he had Rand, he's probably mid-30s, late 30s, I guess. That's a guess. I don't know. But
he aged poorly.
He looked, if he looked like he did.
Ultimate compliment,
whatever Bolton, which wasn't that long ago, then he would have looked young enough, and they wouldn't have had to make the melted eyes look. But at the same time, I just didn't care. I knew at the end of the day, like I was like, oh, it doesn't look great, but I was like so thrilled with that whole thing. I was just kind of like, you need to show me his face. I know other readers need to see his face. I knew who it was going to be. I wasn't even paying attention to that point. I
just hate getting pulled out and like thinking. I hate like where I suddenly start thinking about this stuff. I shouldn't think about this stuff. Like it shouldn't be an issue, right? Like I shouldn't who the fuck is that? Is that Tam? That's Tam? Okay, that's weird,
I think. Well, you're right. Okay, you're right about that. But also, when it's like wonky shit, but like there's a lot that they're not explaining, and I think the modern audience wants that. They appreciate that. The modern audience is comfortable with not having everything spelled out to them. They actually expect it. You don't get fucking manuals anymore when you buy a fucking product. You just have to like no
okay, boomer.
hey, where are the manuals? Right?
They just talk with their thumbs, right?
But no, I think there is so much, and actually, I would like to start gearing this conversation toward the positive. We've been kind of tearing down, and I think let's start winding it down by talking about some of the positives. There were decidedly many moments that I felt like they captured what it felt like to read the books. Right. It could be a character interaction. It could be how they hint at things without explaining it, and you have to piece it together. I believe episode 6 was almost like a masterpiece episode. It's my favorite of the season, and there's so much that's not explained, but I think it was done in a way that our non-readers, when we did our show, no one's complaining about. They're comfortable with it. They actually say, I assume they're going to explain this later. So I think the modern audience likes that. So I think one of my main positives about this is that they took great lengths to try and kind of create that feeling you get when you're reading the books and you don't like know what's going on, and you have to just be comfortable knowing that you just gotta commit to it. And I think they've got a lot of people committed to it, to their credit.
Well, Jono, let me ask you, what is your favorite change that has occurred? What is something that you've been like, whoa, okay, that's cool?
I hate you for asking that, because I was about to move to put my computer on the charger because I'm at 7% battery. But my favorite charge is change. Wow. All right. Freudian football. I think my favorite thing that they've done.
Freudian football.
I don't know. I feel,
anyone can want to jump in there.
It's my turn.
I mean, you're thinking a long time, Jono. Come on.
Yeah, I know. I think they've made a couple relationships more like presentable, right? Like I don't love any changes by definition. I think that every change is wrong, but at the same time, that's because I'm a dickhead, and that's not at all plausible or possible.
No, you know what? I have a tinker's caravan of baggage with me as well that I'm trying to unload.
But one of the things I do like, I like a little bit of how they've changed Egwene and Rand. And I know it's kind of easy to make fun of them because clearly you fight every scene at the same time, like you're going to go fucking bang or sleep together at 21 years old in the next scene, which we all know sleep together, by the way, is Revenge Cream Pie, which is the name of my...
Your third podcast?
Yeah, revengecreampie.org. Look that one up.
By the way, Jono, didn't you lose your virginity when your mom and dad said, "Hey, Jono, why don't you do the dishes with Jenny?"
Just Jenny.
Just
leave. Jenny. So I like that. Honestly, there's a couple Matt changes they made too that I thought were kind of cool. I think at the end they fell hollow, which may or may not have been their fault. I think that Matt himself, the actor Barney Harris, stole every scene, which is very Matt-like, especially considering what happens. Very Matt-like. He has deep sense of irony. I think that I don't know. Like I love so much of it, which really makes me upset with how much it all ends or how it all ends, because I think that like 90% of stuff is at least mediocre followed by cool in some fashion, and then the last 10% I want to just take a dump on my own chest because I was so fucking pissed off. And I don't even know how to do that.
Oh, that'd be tough.
Thank
you. You might need a shovel, you know.
Question. What is your favorite thing that the adaptation has changed from the books for you?
Well, I think I've said it a lot, but the gay part.
The gay part.
No. I mean, that's definitely a big
Why not?
Well, relationship building is important. I mean, we can. I mean, or just the gay on your knees.
There's that. I mean, I love that part, but it's actually not even that. It's the moments where people. Oh God. It's the moments where people like are mentioning that somebody like there's a moment when Dana's like, oh, are you guys slap and tickle friends? It's just such a it's not a big deal in this world.
It's inconsequential.
God. Yeah, I mean, for me, Moraine is awesome. Jono is my favorite part of season 1 of the I mean, I love that, and I also just love I don't know. It's kind of hard to just say one thing that I like. I think Jono is not okay. To whoever's asking it, I'm just gonna give him a moment. I think before he breaks something.
Like that.
I mean, I love the casual gayness, and I love Nynaeve and Moraine. I think that I like them better than this is probably heathenist thing to say, but I love them more than I do in the book.
I'm not a fan of Nynaeve in the book. For several books.
Yeah, I mean, I read the books all in 1 month, so it's hard for me to even separate my feelings. But in the show, I'm just in awe of how much she is like the book, and then somehow capitalizes on that in every scene. And Moraine, the love of my life. I don't think we should get into it because we'll never leave this place.
It's the only fictional character I've ever had impure thoughts about.
Well,
who's that, Moraine?
In the world.
Oh, yeah, I was a kid when I was reading them. In the 90s. It's like
it's fair.
I think that's really telling, Morgan.
It's
now
like,
she has suspenders, so
wrong because she's so old and amazing, and no.
Did you notice
that is telling because she is chaste. Moraine is entirely non-sexual within the books.
They were almost chaste impure thoughts, but I was like, I want to go on this adventure with her and have her be stern with me.
All right, well done.
There it is.
you needed a camp counselor.
Yeah, threaten to punish me if I don't do what you want. It's just
In my
Exactly.
tent now, Morgan.
Well, how about this? In the speech she says to Rand, she talks about how she learned to channel. She couldn't do it, and there was a woman who.
Oh, is that foreshadowing to
I thought that
Elida, by
was
the way?
Elida. I was really hoping so.
I know, but
hope it's
wait.
Elida.
She said-
Elida, fuck her. But go on.
She said this. She
Yo.
said, "No,
Oh,
it's
shushing is
yeah,
the thing now.
it's the way it's the way the shush. All right, so
the shush of the leaf.
no, she says to Rand that someone who she wanted to be like, which was controlled, precise, and
Could
terrifying.
be Cadswain, actually.
Right. So she literally said,
My guess was
I
Cat
would
want-
beat someone.
she said, I want to be terrifying. That's what she said. This woman is everything I wanted to be. And she described 3 things. And the last one was terrifying.
Hey, you want to hear
So-
what my guess was?
What's that?
Cunt swain. That's not a funny term.
I was, yeah,
A,
I
cock,
was,
a coxswain?
Isn't
Coxswains and
isn't
cunt
that
swains?
like vaginal mesh?
I think it's pronounced
A
coxswain,
coxswain?
but okay.
I love coxswain.
But
Also, that's also my that's my dad's name. and
All
my
right, so you guys think that it might be Cat Swain who beat the shit out of her to get her to channel?
I
think it
think
was
that makes
Elida.
Cadswain a little too evil, maybe, though. But
No, but timeline wise, actually, you're right. Timeline wise, why would Cadswain have ever been there 25, 30 years ago,
I don't.
right?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I'm not.
Well, I guess the
Timeline wise, I
timeline
don't even
doesn't
think
fucking
about it
matter.
with the show.
Well, the show doesn't matter. Yeah.
But
Yeah, who gives
Elida
a
makes
shit,
sense
right?
to me. Elida does do that to her also in
Mm-hmm.
New Spring,
canon.
right?
Yep.
Oh, but
Yeah.
isn't who
Does
else
that to her and Swan, I think. are
Yep,
the same
beats the crap out of 'em.
time.
So I got a question. And,
Are
and
we
it goes-
gonna have Sheriam?
Yeah, I think they cast an actress for her.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
Awesome.
do they?
Here's one of my favorite changes.
I
And
mean,
it-
I don't know
it-
for sure, but I think so.
here's one of my changes, and it goes to something I want to discuss also. Throughout the books, I had this idea that they kept talking about the elusive, addictive qualities to Sidar, but it seemed like they talk about it a million times. But where in the novels do you have a payoff for that? Is there a point in the novels where someone is like affected by that, needs to make a decision regarding that, is changed by that in any way? This whole idea that, oh my God, I have to relinquish side art because it's so addicting. They talk about it a million times and they never,
Yeah, are
I
there
thought
any
there's no
junkies?
payoff, right?
Any
But
Sidar
now-
junkies?
I honestly,
see-
so
yeah.
I love that.
But hold
Oddly-
on. But what I loved is that we get a payoff. Like we
Yeah.
see it happen finally. It's a change I really appreciated. Even when they talked about the Manethrin scene, it wasn't diving into that concept of it being so seductive and alluring and like a heroin trip that she could not stop because she wasn't strong enough emotionally to stop. Like we learned from the Manethrin speech, like that whoever ate what's her name burned out because she just was
Yeah,
using too much. She
Eldraine.
used too much to attack and burn herself out. It wasn't about the heroin Sidar. So do
Yeah.
you think, is there anywhere in the books where that is even really delved into besides the mentions?
I mean, yeah, they mentioned that like they pull it in until the sweetness almost becomes pain. They want to pull more. It's discipline that they have to let it go.
Well, I
So
thought that meant
sweet-
vagina. The sweetness becomes pain.
But
right?
it's like they have to,
Yep.
you know, they don't have any kind of like where they actually show anybody where they fuck up. But I feel like this was
Yeah.
great, like show not tell world building, because you know Amelisa didn't make it in the White Tower. She made it to Accepted, and they were like, you know, Moraine said you weren't strong enough to become one of us, but this
Yeah.
is a great opportunity to kind of expound upon that and be like, once they get to the White Tower, yeah, you can pull too much if you're weak-willed, if you're not, you know, if you don't have the self-discipline, and they've seen that, and we've now seen that what
Yeah.
can happen if you're not self-disciplined.
Yeah.
And
But I
Yeah.
just don't remember a moment where like someone's like, "Oh no!" Like strategically, "Oh, I have to stop." It's it's making me lose a battle. It's you're right. Like
yeah,
it's-
there's narrative to that, but it's like seeing it is
So do we agree with
impactful.
Village right here? He says we get at the end with Eggy.
Yeah, she burns
Is that what happens with Eggy at the very end? She just got all fucking heroined out and like couldn't stop, or was she
Not
just
because she
battling
can't
so
stop
hard?
though. Like I think with her and with what the fuck,
Eldrin?
Eldrin. Yes, thank you. It's not that they couldn't stop; it's that they needed to use all the power they could to completely, in Egwene's case, to heal the earth, and in Eldrin to kill all the Trollocs. So I think for them it was like a massive use of the power all at once in a huge effort to. So I do think what's interesting about what you're saying is how it could apply a dramatic element to other scenes that kind of Robert Jordan didn't ever really delve into the addiction nature of it as much.
Yeah,
but there could be like in the healing of the taint with Rand and with Nynaeve, there could be this element of now we know if either of them becomes so intoxicated by it that they that they have to fight two things, both the pain of what they're doing anyways because it's a really difficult task, and the fact that they might become overcome with the joy of holding the power in such a mass quantity.
Okay. Well,
Donna, were you raising your foot?
I was trying to show my taint, but I didn't have the flexibility. But no, so in a legitimate and unfortunate real circumstance, one of the dudes I was having drinks with 12 hours ago fucked my ass. This morning, one of my dudes in my freshman year of college, like he joined the military, and of course, as everything fun happens.
Hoorah!
Yeah, exactly. Hoorah! That's how he sounds like when he's taking a shit because he had a bad parachuting accident. And
in the sphincter,
my buddy, he ended up with some exciting, issues with, whatever drug you want. But in this case, what the fuck was it? Oh, fentanyl. Yeah, he put a lot of fentanyl up his ass, and yeah. So I again, that's it. I just want to talk about my buddy's fentanyl ass.
No, so let's
chugging fentanyl. That's
let me finish here. Unlike him,
all right,
fentanyl. The whole point here is like there is a unfortunately underdiscovered or undercovered, facet of reality about people who are addicted to painkillers, addicted to this and addicted to that. And like what it does, like on a mental health scale, right? Like this is actually a 100% kind of very wonderful, a kind of like piece of turf to kind of like unearth and discuss to a certain extent. On the other hand, I'm certainly not the person to talk about it because all I want to do is make jokes about putting things up his ass.
Yeah. No, I mean, so thanks for being so sensitive and considerate. But yeah, that is. It's something that's always bothered me.
Love you, Sandra.
All right, so let's shift a little bit.
You didn't ask me.
Yeah, we're doing the positives.
I'm sorry.
And then let's shift to ending.
Worst fucking hosts ever. Morgan, talk to us. Pieces of shit. Yeah, go on.
So, my favorite changes are some of the narrative changes. They've done things like expand Loghain's story, bring in the Aes Sedai early, basically make season 1 not just like a Fellowship of the Ring adventure story. They've made it a point to do a lot of world building and expand the story in such a way so that I feel like, and a lot of book purists were angry about that because they were like, it's not about the main characters, they're changing it, but it's just sort of like all of these non-readers were really curious about the Aes Sedai. They wanted to know more. They were really curious about the larger world, and if they had simply focused on following the timeline of the book and the Fellowship style adventure, I feel like they would have kind of lost a lot of people because it's a story that plenty of people have seen before and it's similar enough to that story. So it's like making those narrative changes, like, I don't know. I just feel like they were so effective in so many ways. So like, expanding the story of Loghain and showing everybody right away, this is what happens when men channel, so that now people have an idea, this is what's going to happen to Rand, and showing a whole bunch about Aes Sedai, so they have an idea of, this is kind of like how the world is run. And so, in doing that, they had to write scenes that didn't exist, and I know that frustrated a lot of people, but to me, I just felt like there was so much brilliant, concise writing in the show. So I think that, I think that it was so well done that way. And, there were certain changes that weren't necessarily well done, but for the most part, overwhelmingly, I thought that they were. And so because of that, I have my hopes up that some of the things that they did in the ending, we're going to get payout next season. And that once we have more seasons on a rewatch, it won't feel so much like, oh, what the fuck at the end.
Yeah.
So
Right. I mean, this was written by Rafe, this last episode. So we have to assume that this was his vision, put to screen. Let's do a quick prediction round. I'm going to start. We'll just go counterclockwise. We'll start with you, Carolina. I'll say something from the books, and you will predict whether we will see this occur or not. Okay?
Okay, this is fun.
All right. Will Matt blow the horn? Yes or no?
I think no. I don't think the horn will be blown until... No, I think it might be blown next season by Matt. If it is blown, it will be blown by him. But if it's not blown, I think it will be kept away until the last battle. And the last battle, because there's that whole kind of confusing, very similar, and I don't want to say similar to Harry Potter, but technically it did happen after the final of Harry Potter. But the wand thing where, like, Harry disarms Draco, and then Draco disarms Dumbledore, and Dumbledore, and then Snape, and so there's all these, like, oh, this person died, and then this person is now, which I guess this is way simple, Matt died once.
Who owned it, right? Like, who won it? Expelliarmus?
I don't know if they're going to really waste time kind of giving us that. So, do I have to have a definitive statement here? Okay.
No.
I think
Yes or no? Yes.
I think no. I think no because of the changes they had to make in this season, so he's not tied thematically or story-wise to it.
Okay. Morgan, what do you think?
Well, since they decided to have the Horn of Valyr, yes. Which, I was hoping they wouldn't have the horn because I think it's kind of dumb, but probably if they're gonna have somebody, I mean, they were insisting that that it was for the dragon, but I'm guessing in order to make it, it's all about the five of you, they'll have to have someone besides Rand blow it, so it'll be Matt.
Okay, Jono.
About the horn? Yes. I think the answer is yes. The horn will be blown next season for the simple fact that, honestly, the funniest thing they ever did with the Taviran was to make male Taviran besides Rand. Neither of the men, obviously, the Matt character was unfortunately hamstrung, and Perrin just walked around the end of the book into the show just doing this, looking at his penis and whatever the fuck. While Egwene and Nynaeve took one of the foundational pieces of Rand in the Tarwin's Gap, which I don't have a particular allegiance to. That's fine with me. He should be pretty busy doing Dragon Reborn stuff. So I would think that the whole point here is to redistribute, or in this case, distribute what the Taviran do, and therefore Matt, fucking hope it's Matt, blows the horn.
Yeah. Okay. All right. This is a lightning round. Let me remind you.
Yes.
All right. I'm gonna switch to you, Morgan. Next question: will we see an Ogier Grove?
Like a steading or a grove?
I'm sorry, a steading.
Yes.
You think so, Jono?
Yes.
We already have. We've seen it in the X-ray video, but yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I don't watch that shit. If it's not,
those things are so good. Those are better.
Yeah,
than
I know.
Man, we do a channel on this.
God damn it!
Guys, I admit it. I haven't watched it yet. I will I
They're
will.
really
wanna
good.
know
They'll
what
actually. I think they've done a very good job with those.
I'm afraid I'm gonna like the cartoons better than the show.
Oh, you will. You will. But I think actually, somebody said like the show would be actually adaptable, but in animated form, and I was like,
All
that
right,
is
guys,
very
I'm
cool.
sorry I need to interrupt this regularly scheduled program with the Bella. There's a lot of Bella talk. How dare you,
Ryan,
Jono?
I feel
How
like
dare you, Jono? Look at Jono's thumbs
Jono
down.
just vetoed it.
He just disliked the Facebook dislike.
You know, and I'm with Jono. That was a completely non sequitur, Bella. It
No,
needs to be an
that's not the issue.
organic.
That's not the issue.
No,
My
they
issue
called
is I
for
don't
it.
care about the goddamn horse. It's never interested me, and the fact that it took on legs. Hey-o,
Wow,
I'm
those
sorry.
are fighting.
She
Doesn't
said,
interest me.
all right, it started is we can all blame Kari John.
No, this is how you do it. You go,
Kari?
all right,
This is
all
how
right.
you
So
do it.
guys, the last time we saw this horse was in Shadow Logoth. Are in season 2. Are
No.
we going to see Bella?
More thumbs down with Jono. That's insane.
This is how you, Jono. No, this is how
Jono,
you
you might not
segue.
get invited. If you hate Bella, you're turning the
Jono.
chat's going to turn on you.
Jono.
It's gonna turn on you real hard, just like my wife.
You're hilarious.
All right, no, I believe we saw Bella at the Waygate, and they got shushed off, and we don't know what the hell. That was one I don't. Yeah, that's one of those moments of like, fuck, really? Like you couldn't build a set that could carry a horse. Like you couldn't.
That bothers the fuck out of me. That whole fucking set looks
Yeah,
like
they just like they have like Zen. They like have like moments, and then they just say off with you, and all the horses run away.
Ryan, we're doing a speed round. Carolina, flicker scene. Are we getting it?
Oh God. I think we'll get some version of it. I think flicker is like very good scene. So I think it's kind of goes into the. I'll be quick. The Rand flashback moment has a and the Rand dream sequence. I think they are keeping these like very intense, emotional, quick moments of history and possibility. So yes, I think we'll get it.
That was poetic, Carolina.
Morgan, do you think we're getting the flicker scene?
I sure hope so. I don't know. I feel like it would be good for world building.
For
But-
what though? Like, what does that do for the watcher of the show? Like,
oh, I think it's
It tells you so much so quickly.
Yeah, it really does. It tells
It
you
would
so
be-
much.
it
I
would
know,
be
but
an
like it's
expensive
confusing
scene, I
as
think.
fuck.
Yeah.
That is
That's
fair.
good though. Confusing is good for especially new audience members because they'll be like, "Wait, what did I see? What was that? What was that? What was that? What was that?"
Let's go watch it again. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't know. If I had to guess between yes or no, possibly maybe no.
Okay. Jono? Flicker scene.
No, we've already seen part of it. We already saw part of it with what we saw in the Blight, which was bastardized and fucked up. I think that was one of the things that was supposed to be technically the flicker stuff, right? And what bothers me, because you asked me, oh, you didn't? Oh, well. Is
What
like,
bothered you?
all the things in book 2, the flicker scene is probably one of the 3 or 4 most iconic scenes. It's right underneath the blowing of the horn. And like that flicker scene. I have one again, Lose Theron, is one of the things I say to my wife briefly, like if I win a dumb argument. If I win a real argument, I don't say shit, obviously. But like if there's like a chance that like, hey, do you want to go this or do you want to go there? I'm like, what again? She goes, what's that? And I go, I'll eat your ass later. And she goes, all right. So obviously the answer is no. I will not be eating ass tomorrow. I'm sorry. The question was, what will not be on there?
Okay.
All right, next
I
question.
really hope your wife's real.
She's dead.
Oh my god!
But she still eats ass like a motherfucker. right,
Oh,
who's next?
true.
Who's next? Is
Wait,
it
wait,
Morgan or
Jono's-
Jono? Who goes next?
Is Jono's
Morgan?
wife Fayo?
I fucking hope not. I'll tell you what, I'd be hanging myself right after her.
Is all right. I think you already addressed this, Morgan, but I'm going to state it as a question. Is Moiraine stilled, and is she going to be healed by either Nynaeve or Egwene?
No.
Okay.
No
Jono.
two of the above.
No, I think that she has been shielded just like Leandrin was. And B, I think that it was a bastardization of the idea that somehow Egwene healed Nynaeve. And unrelated, I think she'll figure her shit out.
Moiraine will?
Yeah, eventually, yeah.
Okay.
She'll.
Carolina, do you think she's going to get healed by one of the girls?
Oh God. I think she's not stilled, and I do think she'll. I don't necessarily know if she'll be healed or if the season 2 will end with Ishamael being murdered.
Murdered.
And then her the whatever the block he's put on her disappears.
Okay.
That's a fact.
Jono,
Yeah.
do you think we will see
Thank you.
Asmodean?
Shielded. Yes.
Interesting. If I were a better host of a podcast, which I technically am, of a podcast, I would probably pay
Host of
more
a
attention
better podcast?
to.
Is that what you meant?
No, if I were a better host of a podcast,
I
not
thought
a
you meant
better
us.
podcast of this, because this is, of course, the pinnacle.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, all 26 people agree.
There you
Watching.
go.
25.
I fucking love it.
Shit.
I'll tell you what, you guys are
I'm
dumb enough to have
sorry.
me. How long have we been on this? When did we start?
Oh, it's 3 hours and 40 minutes.
Oh, you guys are dumber than
Guys,
shit.
Yeah,
this
we're
is
wrapping
old,
up.
This is
3
old
a.m.,
school. Brother Dan and I used to go. We've done 6.
Yeah. This is Way the Leaf.
Yeah.
This is a drum circle. If you've never been
You
to
chose the right Jono, because
a
most of the
Grateful
time I'd
Dead
be like,
show,
fuck
it's
you.
just keeps
Yeah.
going and going.
Most
The songs
most of the
are
time I'd be, fuck
I have
you,
to pee
but,
again.
Back to the question. The question is,
I
Who
love
wants to
everyone
pee?
on this fucking
so
stream.
good. So good.
Who has to
I
be
love
here?
you all, yeah, too. Mwah.
what was the question? What was the question? I'm fucked
Will
up.
we see Asmodean?
Oh no! Unfortunately, you know what? Fuck yeah! Let's go with yeah. I think
All
it's
right.
fucking important. Yeah.
So I
Asmodean.
imagine he and Tom are gonna have like a epic
Eat
jam
out
off.
contest. They're gonna suck each other off. It's gonna be 69.
What
I love
is-
it.
You-
All right, Carolina, do you think this is gonna be a suck off contest?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No,
Will
yeah,
there-
I think
will
they're
we
going to do
see-
that instead of the Elaine Bath sequences. I think
Much
that's
better.
The reasonable
Carolina's-
answer to everything. Thank you.
Let-
Yes, I need an applause for that. I do.
Let's make this
Keep it going.
plus TV 16 for sure.
Oh,
Do you think
yeah.
we're gonna see Asmodean?
Yeah, I do. Because we saw 8 figures, 8 Forsaken in Steppen's little,
Yeah, the
you know,
little statues.
wooden chiseled,
Steppenwolf.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, Steppenwolf. Yeah, I think he'll be in there because there's
And
not
one had
many
like
great
a
ones.
guitar or something.
Yeah, right. We saw the one with the guitar. Yeah, so he's
Okay.
yeah, he's. I don't know if he'll be in the show, but technically he already has been in the show.
Okay. Okay.
No, you can't really see it. There's one behind me. I haven't played in years.
Ryan, I can
What
keep
else?
going with these questions, but
No,
John's
yeah,
made a
no.
good
I got.
point.
Well, I wanna. I gotta. Well, we gotta wait for more to come back before you wrap up anything. So how about this? No, I'm gonna burp.
Do it.
I am not a professional. All right.
So,
So
okay.
yeah, do you guys? I'm really into White Claw these days, and that's very carbonated.
Not into. I'm into
Oh,
white.
God, you're into
Carbonated.
White Claw. That's
I'm
not
in
something.
White Claw.
Vectors.
That's not
Oh.
something I've heard anyone once say.
You gotta
out
try
loud.
High Noons, Ryan. They're so much better.
No. These White Claws.
Oh,
are
they
eight-
kick White Claws right in the balls.
This surge is 8% alcohol. 8%.
Damn.
See, you sound like you're like a
You're a
15-year-old.
Fuck that. That's 8%. Get your shit
Yeah,
together.
come on, man.
Come on, man.
All the other ones are 5.
Get your shit
And there's no
together.
calories. I keep my shape. All right.
You know what we should
Jono,
do?
I want to look like you. I just want to look like you, Jono.
Ryan, I like that shirt. I like your little like neon lapels.
I do love
All right, so Loyal is dead, right? Oh no, he's not dead.
Oh no, he was
okay.
just stabbed with a dagger that causes instant death, right?
So yeah, really, we gotta get into this now.
No,
I'm not happy with this because two reasons. One,
Jono's gone.
I'm the trope of like saving each other last minute from death gets old. It really should be used sparingly. Egwene just kind of like magically healing Nynaeve just because she was sad is weird, but okay. But then what? Okay, I'm really into this. I need to know. And now I just need to know. What is that? We've had a couple of these Vax tech people.
Yeah, I've been wondering.
I
about
guess
that.
we should just fucking ban these guys, Matt.
Like
get
and
into-
subscribe, weird Greek name.
Oh, hey. Oh, man. Lobron Lutra, thank you. I hope you stay
thanks.
alive long enough to like and
Yeah,
subscribe.
don't die. Don't die.
Yeah.
You got a long, healthy life ahead.
All
of you.
right,
Come
so
on.
Loyal's gonna get saved, but what bothers me more about this is that when Loyal finally picks up the axe, it is because of his love of his friends. He's not fucking PTSD'd out. He's not damaged. We don't know. He feels like he almost has an idyllic life, and he's only putting himself in harm's way because A, he wants to write his goddamn story, but B, he loves his friends, and he picks up the axe to protect. Now that he's been fucking stabbed to death and has to be miraculously healed in season 2, like he's gonna have a different motivation for picking up that axe, and I don't like that. I don't like that at all. That's taking my favorite character, who's they've already like dumped him down to like a walking Wikipedia. Now he's just gonna become some sort of like maybe vengeful, like murder lust guy, like who's like. Right, he died. He fucking died.
As
He's
of
gonna
right
be
now, Loyal could be a little robot, like
What's the
R2D2.
question?
All right, Jono, this is your
All right, there we go. Double
yeah. Also, drink every time he apologizes. It's been a thing.
It's been a thing.
Oh yeah. I'm not.
No,
My
they-
fucking tuxedo.
I got a
is
nerd
my
parent.
I got a
phone.
pee too, Ryan.
I know.
Sorry.
Keep going. Yeah. So, Perrin, do you think Perrin lifts his leg when he pees?
Oh, absolutely. You can. He gets that little red rocket going. He can't fucking stop marking his territory.
I'm going P2. I'm leaving you two to talk about this Red Rocket business alone.
All right, go pee, Carolina. Go pee, Carolina. Go pee, Carolina.
What's the question for me?
Jono, I used to think you were my hero. I used to look up to you. Now I see you as a peer and a friend.
Yeah, don't. Yeah, you should never have looked up to me. I tried.
What is that? What is that? 19. Who are those hippies behind you on that wall right there? Is that Daryl Hall and John Oates?
No, it's Jimmy Page and Robert Plant.
I think no, I don't believe you. I think it's Daryl Hall and John Oates.
It's
is that Wham?
it's a Rolling Stone cover by an ex-girlfriend of mine of Jimmy Page and Robert Plant.
Okay, that's beautiful.
Yeah, I one of the things that I don't talk about in my in my time of dying. At one point, my hair used to be down to here. Oh, I can't really see that. Mid chest. I used to have hair to my nipples. I guess about right there. And I had hair that looked like Robert Plant in the early 70s. That obviously.
Okay, well, I mean, if you could like leave and get a picture and show it to the camera of you with this epic hair, I would be happy. Shelly Sedai says, okay, so my sister, which is rather specific, has a theory that from the point that Perrin sees the bat, he is dreaming. And the whole Perrin Fane monologue is a dream, including all of the stabby McStabby parts. So the bat, like back in episode like 3, is that like the bat that like Rand pulls out of his mouth? Is that what you're talking about, Shelly? I'm interested. I want to know more though. Do we see a bat in this episode, or is this like episodes ago? Wow, this is amazing. Dylan, Charles, Vastek. All right, we have Russian bots. Yeah!
Right on.
I showed up at the right time. What's going on with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you play guitar?
I used to.
Whoa, what the fuck? We got a jam.
For
right, and
Motorhead.
Carolina Sands Couch is back.
There we go.
All right, we're in the home stretch.
We are. Yeah, Carolina. It's like 4 a.m. for her now.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Wow.
You look like the caveman commercials.
That's so good. So good.
The Geico caveman commercials.
So good.
All right, what are we talking about?
Ryan, we have old pictures of ourselves, don't we?
I don't know on this one. Yeah. Let me find them. Let me find them.
That's all, like you asked for it. That's my past. The ghost of me past.
I want to see your band. Do you have videos of your band, Jono?
I never had a band. This is my brother. He played harmonica and I played some guitar sometimes.
Yeah. All right. Well, Ryan, what are we doing? Are we wrapping up?
We are wrapping up. Yeah.
Let's talk about
Just
some more
like,
squad.
hey, even though it's the day after Christmas, we're wrapping up now, which is the beef leaf.
Nice.
Remember that?
Yeah, who did that for us?
Yeah, don't make me do that. Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
I don't remember. Someone
Rainbow.
Rainbow. I think Rainbow said I did that. Yeah. Good call. Yeah.
Where are they all now?
Where are they?
Where are they now?
Yeah, I'm looking at this list. I don't see
That's the next episode. Let's do it for the next 2 hours. I've got time.
Oh yeah, let's get
No
it.
for me,
We
dog.
can just go into episode 6 now.
I gotta go eat. I haven't
Gotta
eaten.
go be
Let's
a
see.
My
thief.
blood sugar's getting low. I'm
Eating.
like,
Let's get a good one.
All right, well, I mean, yeah, let's wrap this bad boy up. Put a bow on it. Put a bow on this turd. We have. This has been Tavern Talk. We are the way to leave.
Come on, you guys aren't turds. You guys are wonderful people. This is
No, you're turds.
Well, all right,
There it is.
put a bow on me. All right, I'll take it.
All right, so as we change the music, let's get some mood music going. I want to hear what you guys have to offer the world. This is your time to shine. Basically, plug away. I want to start with Carolina Sands Couch. Plug away. Where can people find you? What can they expect when they find it?
Well, they can expect a lot. Carolina and the Couch is my YouTube channel. Thank you very much. I was in my computer crash last week, so I couldn't put up 3 episodes, but 2 of them are edited and hopefully will be put up now that I've got my computer back today. So get excited for those. That's
Good, awesome, yeah, beautiful. And and so you just basically talk about the wheel time, right?
Yeah,
do you go anywhere else besides wheel time?
So far, because the show came out, I've just been doing that. But I would like to start talking about some books I'm reading, which are mostly fantasy, almost entirely. So
Awesome.
I do that shit.
Awesome. And why have you not had us as guests on your show, Carolina?
Any day now. We'll bring this viewer count down to 4 for 4 hours, and it will be fabuloso.
Nice comeback. I do that to everyone, and they all. It's funny.
Yeah, bro.
I did to Morgan, and she did not even. She was unfazed.
She's all that. I don't do that.
Well, yeah, I called you out live and said, "Why have you not had us on your show?" And you handled it great.
I do topical literary analysis where I write shit. What was I supposed to do?
She's not with us anymore.
What, I write poetry. You don't know this about me. I go deep.
Very good.
But I have a YouTube channel now where I can do more YouTube-y things. Now there are possibilities to have puppets on.
Yeah,
And
awesome.
me. Right?
Yeah, you can have Morgan on your show, Carolina.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm just sorry. I'm eating.
I'm the only one
salami.
coming on, Morgan. These two.
You're eating salami?
They can come when they want. But...
Yeah, I got salami. I guess it's sopressata. Yeah, it's salami. I got it in my stocking.
You got a whole charcuterie.
That's awesome.
It's a
I'd
fucking,
fuck up some salami right now.
It's turnip curry.
Fuck up some salami.
My wife went to World Market and bought like all kinds of tasty shit and stuffed it in my stocking.
Awesome. That's the way to Morgan's heart is salami.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Not
The
since
salami and the
COVID.
stocking. Oh no, that's,
stuffed stocking.
I hope it's pre-sliced.
You don't slice it.
All right, Jono.
So I am Jono. I'm from a podcast called TwoTCast, and we're all a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah.
If you want to watch more of my dick jokes, you can find me on dickjoke.com.
Wow, it's a
That's
good
not true.
combo.
This is a penis, right?
Right, let's go ahead and announce we are going to be joining Jono and the rest of the TwoCast for a Dungeons and Dragons adventure based in Wheel of Time. So Wheel of Time role-playing game. We have set our characters. We are set to record, I guess, pretty much any time now, and we're going to do that coming soon in between this first season and the next one coming up.
I think it's in 2 weeks. I think it's when we start. So I've never done D&D. That sounds like both a sexual issue of mine and a fantasy issue of mine, which is very related. I'm excited to rub my D against someone else's D. I think it's gonna be fun.
Your thing is D&D, like you're putting one dick inside of another dick?
It's docking, right? Like someone's uncircumcised and no one's not. Like this kind of like
docking.
It's like what happened in the I think it's a Roger Moore movie, right?
Yep, exactly.
Roger Moore Bond movie where it just kind of
Octopussy.
Ooh, is it Octopussy?
I don't know. Here's a true story.
It is Octopussy.
I went to the store today. I bought a box of Nerds candy because it has this thing that says, "Oh, if you send in your receipt and proof of this thing, you get a 6-part adventure Dungeons and Dragons thing for free. We'll send it to you." And I showed my son. I'm like, "Yeah, I got Nerds. I don't know what." He's like, "Oh, that's funny. Nerds coordinated with Dungeons and Dragons. Whoa, what a shock!" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I guess Nerds are. I guess that's a no-brainer for Nerds to."
All right, Nerds, right?
To collaborate with Dungeons and Dragons.
So, Patreon website, of course, is
that.
Yeah.
That one.
Is this the music, by the way, from Dark? Is this the music from Dark, the TV show?
No, this is my band. I'm in this.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a band.
That's fucking cool as shit. It sounds like Dark, the TV show.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Is this Ogres Like Onions?
This is. Yeah. Thank you. This is a project I made called Ogres Are Like Onions. Thank you.
You can open them up and then eat them out.
There's layers. No, because they make you cry.
Because they have layers.
And then you can.
All right.
Guys,
well,
thank you for joining us.
And in betweeners, get persons on all the spectrums is how I say.
What about me?
All spectrums.
Hey, Morgan. Morgan.
Yeah, never mind.
Morgan,
No.
what do you have coming up next? What have you been working on, Morgan?
I'm editing my episode 7 video right now. You can find me on Twitter at Pod of the Dragon, where there are links to my YouTube video and my podcast.
Nice.
I was trying to render my episode 7 React video and it crashed like 5 times, and I couldn't figure out why until I saw that I had literally 0 gigs of RAM left on my computer. So
it was also because it's a lot to just yell about that episode. Actually, episode 7, you're good. Never mind.
I got an SSD for Christmas, so I just have to go pick it up, and I will transfer a bunch of shit onto it, and then hopefully I can then render my episode, because so I've got editing to do, and I'll get those up, and then I'm still doing the notes for a mini-sode that I'll get out, and that way I'll be putting out content for my podcast again.
Everyone who's still watching, Morgan, one of the things that we bonded on was kind of me giving her tips on how to do this stuff. Morgan, is it safe to say that you are not computer friendly at all, right? Before any of this, go for it.
Yeah, no, I was really like, I don't know, a year and a half ago when we were doing the TwoTCast podcast-a-thon in what, like 2020.
Mhm.
And I didn't even have a laptop because I didn't see the point, because I wouldn't have used it because I just didn't know very much about it, and so I was doing it on my phone.
I know, you didn't even do like horizontal view. You did vertical.
No, yeah,
view.
and I seriously, genuinely thought that my picture showed up smaller on everybody else's screen because I was filming with a small. Yeah, because I was a little dumb.
Yeah.
But I have since learned actually a great deal of things, and
Yeah. No, so Morgan's amazing. She's just anything she needs to learn, she will just research it. She's like tons of YouTube videos. Like she's completely self-taught in every way. Your production value is just getting up and up. Your thumbnails look great. Your show looks great, Morgan. Kudos to you. Like,
well, and
really.
it's all just reaching the standard of your content already. Your content is top notch. I mean, I'll say, I've said it before. You are
my favorite mind in WOT.
Yeah,
my favorite mind in WOT. You are truly
well said.
Thank you.
You're embarrassing me.
Oh, that's why we keep asking you on. You add so much to our show.
Well, thank you.
And you handle like the eccentricities like a champ.
You are rainbows and carnivals and 3 beautiful women.
3 beautiful women in one.
Can you beat that compliment? Like that's
pretty good.
That was
top
good.
notch. Yeah.
No, hey, it's the way of the leaf, man.
Yeah. Let's link arms and get punched.
Oh Jesus!
Sounds like sex.
It's the way of the
man. All right, yeah. Well, Donkey punched you, Jono. I love you. I love you so much, Carolina. Thank you so much for joining us, Morgan. Thank you for joining us. We are going to continue to break down this show. Tavern Talk is going to be a mixture of show and book, but as we get further away from the show, we'll dive back further into what we could just call book stuff. Oh my fucking God, that is like a terrifying and cute cat at the same time. Oh my God, is that Grumpy Cat? That's so
That
Yeah, that's
so
beautiful.
cute.
Oh my God!
So cute.
Looks like a panther.
Oh my God, its arms are just like.
Oh my God! Here I come to save the day.
This is Gandalf the Grey.
Oh,
That was
that's beautiful.
amazing.
Yeah, that's
All right,
my.
like and subscribe. We get random cats.
Yeah, and you know what? We're doing a Patreon, but if you honestly just want to like help us out directly, we have a Venmo, The Way of the Leaf. At The Way of the Leaf is our Venmo. We'll get a graphic for that. Patreon takes 8% of what you donate. So if you want to stop funding the man but want to help us out directly, feel free to Venmo us, and we will do anything we can to give you our appreciation. We'll send you cups, shirts, stickers, what have you. We love the interaction more than anything, and you guys are great. What we do here is build community. That's what this has been all about. It's been all about that from the start. We don't have as much time as we used to be able to get on Discord and talk to everyone directly. We'll try to get back to that as soon as possible. But as we move forward, the show is growing. Our channel is growing. We have Watchnary. We have Watch You Feeling. We have Tavern Talk. We have LeafCast, which is our first-time reader show starting book 4 recently. So whatever you need, we have it. And we are in the process of making an Wheel of Time improv show that's being in the development. We have some amazing improvisers who are going to work with us developing that show. So basically our channel is like,
Rain on a wedding day.
It's like a college radio station where you never know what's going to come up next, but you might like it, you might not, but you will eventually change your life. Everyone in chat, thank you so much. We love you. And if that's the end, let's say goodbye. All right. All right, everyone, run for your lives because this is the way